station.
As we sing, alright. Yes, alright. What a ride. Yes, alright. The Bible says God is enthroned on the praises of his people. How many of God's people are out there? Sing this with me. Oh, we lift you up. We lift you up. We lift you up on our praises. We lift you up. We lift you up. We lift you up on our praises. Come on, we lift you up. We lift you up. We lift you up on our praises. So we lift you up. We lift you up on
6:29. Welcome to the Citi Breakfast Show, 23rd October 2024. Starting off with Don Moen, arise, take your place, be enthroned in our praise. King of Kings. I'm going to repeat yesterday's business sense because a lot of you liked it. You said it was quite profound to hear. And it was basically about the attitude, your outlook to life. And there are many questions you have to answer in life, one of which is your attitude. Now, so the thing about attitude is, some people say attitude is everything, which is not really true because attitude is not everything. And there's always this example. If you don't have the ability to do something, a good attitude doesn't help you. So if I need a driver to hire, and I get a guy who has a great attitude, if he can't drive, he can't drive. So attitude doesn't replace ability or competence, right? So attitude is not everything, but attitude makes everything better or worse. So if you have good ability and then you sort of have a terrible attitude, it makes your output worse, right? So attitude is what John Maxwell calls the extra plus in leadership, or he says is the difference maker. Then he gives some very interesting definitions for attitude. He says, for example, attitude is the paintbrush of your mind, is the advanced man of your true self. He says its roots are inwards, but its fruit is outward. Then he also says your attitude is more honest and consistent about you than your words, right? So it's not what you say, but it's how you behave. So your attitude is more honest and consistent about you than your words. Then he says your attitude is your outward look based upon your past experiences. It's what draws people to you or what repels them. Then he says, attitude is never content until it is expressed. And then he gives this very profound quote. Your attitude is librarian of your past, the speaker of your present, and the prophet of your future. I like it. Your attitude is the librarian of your past. That means it keeps a track record of your past. It's the storehouse of your past, right? It's the speaker of your present. It's what we see now. It's also the prophet of your future. Attitude, the difference maker. Wonderful. And that was really from John Maxwell, Attitude, the difference maker. Really profound thoughts. And we say personal attitude, corporate attitude, national attitude, very important for success. So work on your attitude to life, your attitude to time, attitude to work, to people, attitude to rejection, attitude to failure, attitude to correction. I think that it's one of the most important things we lack in these days. When you're not doing something right, and particularly your boss or somebody who has authority over you says, look, this is not good, you can do better. Your reaction reveals your attitude. If you say, this guy doesn't like me, this guy's always picking on me, it means you're not wise. A wise person uses that kind of feedback to help themselves do better, right? So one of the things you need to learn is, or one of the things you need to measure is, how do I respond to correction? If my response to correction is always, oh, I'm a victim, oh, people don't like me, you're probably not a very wise person. Because the wise person would say, well, I may not agree with everything this person says, but let me take what is useful and use it to improve my life. Because if I improve, I benefit. He doesn't benefit, right? I mean, if you do something and somebody says, look, Aloski, you can do better, and I say, well, I'm going to argue with you, that's just foolish. Listen to the person, apply the wisdom in what they say. If I get better, it helps me. It helps me, right? So what's your attitude to correction? It's a key. It's a key to it's a key predictor of how well you do in life. Okay, all of this is what we call Business Sense. It's brought to you by ADB. We have a good loan offer for you, and we do all kinds of loans, right? Top-up loans and all kinds of things. Key point, reach us on 0302210210. We'll help you with a better tenor, so probably elongate it so you have less to pay every year. We'll also reduce the interest rate. You can bring a bad loan to us and we'll change it to a good one. It's called ADB, the People's Bank. All right, now we have the newspaper review segment. I like to call it the news review because it's almost like newspapers are getting finished. Hey, you know, when I started this work in the year 2001 properly, you know, I used to be the producer of a show called the show was called, what was the show called? Behind the Headlines. And then we'll come after my lectures in the afternoon, and then Alaji will show us how to, like, you need to read every story. So one of the disciplines of working with Alaji was you had to read everything in every newspaper.
Yeah.
Everything. So basically, you have to read everything because he's basically asking you to pick the most useful stories that you can follow up on, and sometimes the editorials.
True.
So that discipline of reading every newspaper every day, you know, by the time I started working here, people were like, you are just fresh from school. How come you have so much knowledge about politics? Well, Alaji made me read everything every day. You get it? So there were so many newspapers.
Yeah.
And sometimes the editorial choice was to decide which paper not to include.
Right.
All right. This is 2001. We're in 2024, and today, I mean, you can even, the papers are not even many. You know, the newspaper industry is, I don't know what's happening. You know, I don't know if people are not buying it or something wrong. And people, Charlie. Anyway, that's not my focus for today.
Revolutionizing things.
Yeah, so newspapers.
Yeah.
Charlie, those who have stayed, may God strengthen you. Because, Charlie, the work is tough.
And there are new kids on the block.
Yeah, there's the news center.
News center.
Right?
Yeah,
Chronicle has lasted, Daily Guide has come a long way. Graphic is still there.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, so the newspaper review is brought to us by Total, and we have the new Excellium formula, an additive enriched formula with a 3-in-1 action that cleans your engine, extends its life, and lowers your vehicle's fuel consumption.
The Bible says,
Now, so get Total, insist on Total, ask about the Excellium's new formula. It will make your life very easy. And of course, Fidelity Bank is also proud to be associated with this segment. Whether you are a student today, whatever you are today, we can help you become better tomorrow. We have a motto, which is essentially to believe with you, to make things better for you. Our purpose is to inspire your success and collaborate with you every step of the way. Fidelity Bank, believe with us. Of course, the segment is also brought to us by Piva.
Yeah, man.
A taste you love. Piva.
Yes,
Piva,
yes,
a taste you love.
Yes, sir.
Let me say good morning to Nathan.
Hello.
And to Caleb. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good
Hi.
morning, Bernard.
Yeah, today I'm feeling a bit nostalgic.
Yes.
My first proper editorial work was to do newspaper. It wasn't newspaper review, it was
Going into history.
editing. Okay, it was selecting headlines for Alaji to use to do follow-ups. And those days, the biggest thing was newspaper review programs. So you pick the newspapers, read it, and then you mark.
Yes.
And then sometimes you call the editor or you call the reporter.
Yes.
Or sometimes you call somebody to
I
comment.
noticed it was a big thing growing up as a boy and listening to the radio programs. I noticed it was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know.
It's funny, these days I actually get more news from my phone than from newspapers. You know? and in fact, it's true. It's like, but you know, the newspapers shouldn't die. You know, let Reuben die, let Reuben live and not die. Let not his men be few. Let newspapers live and not die. Because a lot of them are dying. One day I'll do a show on newspapers and why we should not let them die.
Yeah, because sometimes the stories that are even headlined in front page, they are like 2 days early. Or
The time they go to print, it's not easy.
other times the big stories are not even captured in the print because it comes overnight and all that.
So to all newspaper editors, stay the course. Don't allow the job to die. Nathan, Daily Guide.
Daily Guide says 4 MPs brouhaha. Badbin suspends Parliament. That's on page 3 of the paper.
Yeah.
Baumia Adaklu chief signed fresh deal.
All right.
Ghana Armed Forces refutes military interference
You know what's
claims.
funny? While Agboja was in Parliament talking,
Yes.
Baumia was in his backyard doing damage.
Yeah, with
Anyway.
the chiefs and all.
Yeah, and court frees
Oh, Lord.
7 protesters.
What about the Slate story there?
Yeah.
It says it has paid 3.7 billion cedis to pensioners.
Nice. Now, the news center is starting with NPP chose peace over violence. This is Aponyo Markin. Ghana card for Ghanaians abroad officially launched in Denmark.
All right.
That's some exciting development. Public rally government support for Springfield during stakeholder engagement ahead of appraisal. Drilling. And Bernard, listen, over 82,000 passport owners have not gone to collect their passports. Yeah, 82,000. And Free SHS has not lowered education quality, Dr. Premper says.
The Herald says ex-health minister's 2024 re-election dogged by multi-million-dollar COVID-19 scandals. His wealth, and properties questioned. Notorious Anodompre goes thoughtless again. Buses supporters into volatile parliamentary situation. And then an ex-PURC member is saying how ECG shortchanged energy sector and collapsed cash mechanism. Plus, we developed Volta region better than NDC, says Baumia on regional tour.
Chronicle has the headline of the morning. We won't follow minorities patapa, Aponyo Markin says. And Bagbin requested for bomb detectors from army to sweep chamber before yesterday's sitting. And then Green Gold agenda is here as well to rake in $5 billion annually, COA boss says.
If you go to the Republic Press, Badmin shuts Parliament as he yields to Supreme Court orders. The Ghana Armed Forces is refuting allegations of interference in Parliament. Ursula cries for Parliament, urges Speaker to restore order. And National Chairman for Tanker Drivers condemns attack by police.
Ghanaian publisher Aponyo Markin to trigger recall of Parliament, reaffirms commitment to peace. AG defends constitutionality of MPs retaining seats. And then election 2024, Adaklu residents better off with NPP. This is Baumia.
The Inquisitor newspaper will clearly have a serving of Napo, so let's start with that. Napo is not arrogant. That's coming from Senor Hosi. He says he's passionate about his opinions. Now to the other stories. Speaker suspends Parliament over vacant seat controversy. And Get Fund makes huge gains between 2017 and September 2024. These are the 2024 stakeholder forum. Yoko honors former and current heads, and Green Gold agenda unveiled.
Informer this morning, no one will survive chaos. Security Dawn warns MPs. Alan Boy, okay, sorry, let me not do that one. Volta Chiefs hail Baumia for decent campaign. Scuffle over vacant seats pushes Parliament CNDA and majority walked out to preserve Ghana's peace. Bagbin betrayed me, upon your marking.
If you go to the new publisher, they still have Parliament here. And it says majority leader explains walkout. It was to avoid NDC's invitation to lawlessness. Triggers recall of Parliament immediately. And the Ghana military or the Ghana Armed Forces here, they are saying Badman requested military deployment to Parliament.
Right.
Daily Post is the final one from me. Mahama pledges to fix Spoon Katamansu Road. Ghanaians hail hero Bagbin following suspension of Parliament. And national organizer of the NDC, Dr. Hannah Bisiu, is here. She says we won't meet NPP with Bibles while they use guns.
Let me go online. If you go to Channel 1 News, MPs running as independent in 2024 must not vacate seats according to the AG.
Okay.
In other stories, Cynthia Morrison denies withdrawing independent candidacy. And as you've all read, Apenyo Markin says it will trigger a recall of Parliament on Wednesday. So keep an eye on that. And of course, we are told the Armed Forces is saying that military deployment to Parliament was at the Speaker's request, as you've read elsewhere as well. Now, Hassan Ayariga has been speaking to face. He says, Alan has no message. Cheddar lacks ideas. I'm the real deal.
Come on.
He also says embassies will refund 50% of visa fees
Thank you.
for denials if he's elected president.
Thank you.
Now, there's a focus on Sege constituency where fisherfolk decried delayed premix fuel. The NDC candidate also says he has no contest. He claims he's winning. And then a raft of stories from yesterday's parliamentary shenanigans. CityNewsroom.com. I'll tackle youth unemployment with digital economy. Baumia speaking. YX says we are working to release withheld BEC results. All right. In other stories, 8th Parliament risks being the worst in Ghana's history. This is Esla Owusu, a member of that parliament.
Okay.
And then Mahama Erga says we consider ourselves majority. he insists. Now I'll take you to a few more stories. If you go to Graphic Online, a couple of stories. University of Ghana Business School wins TBSC version 6.0.
Okay.
And then MPP is trying to woo Suhum and Agona West MPs with a photo of Cynthia Morrison and co. And then, of course, the Ghana Armed Forces is saying they were deployed at the Speaker's behest. Now, I'm going to my Joy Online to give you a few more stories. The Parliamentary seat saga. Supreme Court mustn't be a hatchet agent. Tony Edu says this. And then we're also told that diplomacy is key. Speaker Babin's handling of parliamentary impasse, praised by the same person. And then there's a few stories. Ghanaians to use VFS Global for UK visa applications from October 22, so that's from yesterday.
Okay.
And then Nadia Buhari has been commenting on the East Legon accident.
Okay.
She says it's too painful to forgive. Meanwhile, Idris Elba says he's planning to move to Africa.
Okay.
Do you know Idris Elba? Yeah, he's planning to move to Africa. Let's get some details from the stories.
Scuffle over vacant seats pushes Parliament Cine DA. A majority walked out to preserve Ghana's peace. As the news desk report from the Informer, Ghana's Legislative Assembly was yesterday compelled to adjourn proceedings Cine DA that is indefinitely following a series of legal actions arising from the Speaker's declaration of 4 members of Parliament MP seats as vacant. The Speaker, Alban Bagbin, last Thursday, October 2024, declared the seats of Cynthia Morris and Aguna West, Kwejo Asante Suhum, Andrew Siama Mwako Fomina, and Peter Kwache Aka, a Memphis Central vacant, following a petition by the National Democratic Congress, Member of Parliament for Tamale South Haruna Idrisu, calling on him, the Speaker, to invoke the necessary provisions of Article 97.
History lessons.
Yeah,
so basically, what we want to know is that the Speaker, after
adjourned the
reading a statement,
Yes.
adjourn the House
Cine DA.
indefinitely.
Yes, please.
That's the big story.
Yes.
Meanwhile, there's on the same page, they're quoting Apenyo Markin, who says that.
Bagbin betrayed me.
What are the details?
It says Majority Leader and Member of Parliament for Futu constituency, Alexander Apenyo Markin. Apenyo Markin.
Alexander Apenyo Markin.
This one is just like has accused the Speaker Alban Bagbin of betrayal of trust ever since he took over as leader of his side.
Right.
According to him, there are instances that he held private discussions with the Speaker and had consensus, but only for Bagbin to come to the chamber to do the opposite. He further revealed that on all such occasions, he restrained himself because he did not want to be captured in the hands that Apenyo Markin made a revelation in the wake of Bagbin's last Thursday declaration.
He's also said that he's going to trigger a recall of Parliament by Wednesday. That story is on multiple websites.
Yes.
And he was speaking to Umaru Sanda Amadu on Eyewitness News yesterday, and he basically says that, of course, they walked out because they didn't want to create chaos, and that they will cause a recall of Parliament early next week. So the Futu MP attributed the Speaker's move to unresolved issues concerning the composition of Parliament, but suggested that it was a deliberate strategy to disrupt the legislative process in the lead-up to the upcoming elections. An interview on Eyewitness News on Tuesday, Apenyo Markin raised concerns about signals from the opposition indicating their unwillingness to cooperate with government. Meanwhile, Muhammad Yariga, speaking on the same program, insists that the NDC has the majority. He was speaking to Sanda Amadu on the same program. More on this later on.
Yes.
Well, just staying with all of this, on the side yesterday, Frank Anodompre, MP for Nsawamedweji, he too was involved in a few shenanigans here. And the Herald says...
He's the majority chief whip, or the chief whip for the MPP side.
The Herald says he's gone thoughtless, or said he went thoughtless again, following his Galamsey comment, saying that yesterday he did not conduct himself well by going into the chamber when it wasn't open, and then drawing the anger of Adaklu MP governs Kwame Agbeja. So that is on page 4 of the Herald for those.
Meanwhile, there's a very interesting story on page 3 of the Informer. No one will survive the chaos. Security don't want MPs, and I think it's a good story. Renowned security analyst of international repute, Professor Emmanuel Kwesi Enning, has advised Ghanaian lawmakers to always strive to uphold the national interest instead of their selfish and partisan ends, since they would not live to survive the consequences of their actions. To this end, the director of, he's a former director of Faculty of Kofi Annan. He's now just a researcher. He's called for responsible leadership from both sides of the House, particularly as the nation approaches the December 7 elections. Yes, that's a quote. When you let us slip down the slippery slope and this gets out of hand, you will not escape yourself. think about yourself, think about your children, think about your children's children. None of us will be able to survive this. We have a very short time to pull back from the brink. And this afternoon will be a test of our discerning maturity and hopefully our love for this country. He was speaking ahead of yesterday's issues in Parliament,
Nice
speaking
one.
to TV3.
Bernard, while all this is happening in Parliament, there's a headline here that's troubling. Ghanaian publisher, Citi resumes depreciation.
Oh, before you go there, I wanted
Yes.
to just read finally the Armed
Right.
Forces story.
Yes.
I think that's important because there was a confusion around soldiers
Right,
in
yes.
Parliament. And the Ghana Armed Forces has made a statement public that they refuted claims of deploying military personnel to disrupt parliamentary proceedings. The response follows media reports alleging some soldiers were sent to interfere with the parliamentary meeting.
Yeah.
In a statement released on Tuesday, the Ghana Armed Forces clarified that the deployment was made at the request of the Speaker, Abam Babin, but stressed that the military personnel were not present to interfere with any parliamentary activity. Basically, they say that the Speaker, through the Clerk of Parliament, formally requested security assistance from Ghana Armed Forces for routine canine and bomb sweeps of the chamber. This standard procedure is conducted on the first sitting day of the week, typically Tuesdays, whenever members of Parliament convene outside the traditional Parliament House.
Okay.
So basically, that point is well made. Nathan, what else do you have for us?
Well, let's go to the energy sector. And ECG is here. Now, a former board member of the PRC, Dr. Ni Dakun Asante, has placed the blame of the failure of the cash waterfall mechanism squarely on the ECG. Now, he says PRC, during the tenure of the dismissed ECG boss, he resigned, Samodubik Mahama, in several reports to the president, raised concerns about how management was flouting the cash waterfall mechanism. And according to Dr. Ni Dakun Asante, who was speaking on Joy News' PM Express, he said he expressed frustration over ECG's role in undermining the financial distribution framework designed to ensure fairness in Ghana's energy sector.
Now, the cedi has resumed depreciation as demand for dollar surges. Ghana cedi lost a marginal value to the US dollar, increasing its year-to-date loss to up to 26%. This was due to the heightening of corporate demand and recent Eurobond coupon payments. Central Bank held a 7-day FX auction, accepting all the $51.4 million bids submitted on the day. The auction failed to keep the local unit stable, as the local unit shed 0.15% week on week against the US dollar to close the week's trading at a mid-rate of $16.38 to the cedi. Now, the financial market, however, is posting mixed performance. News Center is reporting that investor interest in treasury bills surged during the recent auction, resulting in the government raising 4.2 million Ghana cedis, surpassing its target of 4.04 billion Ghana cedis. Oh, it's billion. The initial one is billion.
Yeah.
So the percentage is 3.97%. All bids for the 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day treasury bills were fully accepted, signaling strong demand.
So basically, the currency is depreciating again.
Yeah.
And basically that's that. Okay, what do you have again for us this morning?
Well, let's go to the Republic Press,
What are they
page
talking
9.
about?
They have some crime stories here.
All right.
One that was in the media a few months ago was the O'Reilly SHS matter.
Uh-huh.
Now, the story says father of Enoch Botesaki, the O'Reilly SHS student who was brutally murdered, has disclosed alarming new details regarding his son's death. Contrary to earlier reports that said Edward had been stabbed with a pair of scissors, autopsy findings revealed that he sustained 3 stab wounds inflicted by a jackknife, highlighting the brutality of the crime. Devastated by the loss, Edward's father has vowed to pursue justice for his son, expressing his determination to take action if those responsible are not held accountable. And he voiced his frustration about the handling of the investigation by the police, and he's called for swift and fair justice.
Hassan Ayarga is in the news on the political side. He says that Alan has no message, Cheddar has no ideas, but he's the real G.
Yes, sir.
And he also is promising that embassies will refund 50% of visa fees if you are bounced.
Yes.
Now, that's the flag bearer of the APC pledging to introduce a policy where embassies will refund half of the fees charged to Ghanaian applicants if elected as president. In an interview with Dr. Umaru Sanda on Face to Face, Mr. Ayarga also promised that his government would ensure embassies provide written explanations for visa denials rather than leaving them blank without proper
Yes.
reason. Okay.
We like it.
Good for him.
Now, over 82,000 passports have not been collected by their owners. News Center is reporting. Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has revealed that there are currently 82,710 passports printed but yet to be collected by applicants across various regions in Ghana, with some dating back to as far as 2016. The uncollected passports are spread across passport application centers nationwide. There's a regional breakdown here, and the ministry has issued a notice encouraging all passport applicants whose biometric data has been captured and processed to visit their respective packs to retrieve their passport. But Bernard, is UTAC still on strike?
I think so. And I think also the public sector workers are on strike over some salary. So UTAC is also on strike.
Yeah, and a group of university lecturers have appealed to the leadership to call off the ongoing strike. UTAC is currently on strike against the government on the illegal mining galamsey activities, which had polluted water bodies and destroyed forest reserves in some parts of the
Let's
country.
go on the campaign trail. Before I go to Baumia in the Volta region, there's an interesting one here where fisher folk in Sege are decrying the delay in the getting of premix. Fishermen in Sege constituency have expressed frustration over the delayed and inconsistent supply of premix fuel, a critical resource for their livelihood. According to them, it's a major challenge that affects their operations as fishermen. Emmanuel Oman, a fisherman from Akpalabanya, who spoke to the constituency on Channel 1 TV, stated that the situation had become dire, with premix fuel only being supplied once every 6 months. This shortage, he said, forced many fisher folk to turn to the black market where prices are exorbitantly high. Now, Dr. Baumia has been campaigning in the Adaklu.
Yes. And it's here, page 4 of the Herald. And Dr. Baumia has showcased the Akufo-Addo government's achievements in parts of the Volta region to connect with the electorate ahead of the upcoming election. He proclaimed that the people of Adaklu were better off with the MPP in government. He's speaking during the third day of his constituency-targeted visit to the region. Dr. Baumia emphasized his party's commitment to development and progress in the area as compared to the NDC, and he stated that the MPP government had made significant investments in infrastructure in Adaklu compared to the previous administration led by the NDC.
There's a touching story here of Nadia Buhari commenting on the East Legon accident. She says it's too painful to forgive. My journalist is reporting that actress Nadia Buhari has taken social media to express a heartfelt condolence to the families of 2 young girls who lost their lives in the devastating East Legon accident. On Instagram, she shared a wholehearted message acknowledging the unimaginable pain and grief the affected families are enduring after such a loss. And her prayer is written on the website as well. Really tragic indeed, that particular development. It's a very, very sobering story there. All right, gentlemen, before we go, I want to just announce there's a very important program happening later this morning, which will be live on Channel 1 television. So it's the first anniversary public lecture in honor of the late Akoto Ampao, known as Sheshe. Now guess the theme. The problems of democracy in Ghana's Fourth Republic. As if we knew what was happening this week. Keynote speaker, Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, who is the executive director of CDD. Now, the topic is the crisis of civic citizenship in contemporary Ghanaian democracy. Lessons from the life and times of the late Akoto Ampao. And there will also be a panel with Professor Joji Chikata, Suleiman Brahma, Professor Kwame Kakari. Channel 1 Television is the media partner. So it's going to be live from 9:30.
I love it.
Yes.
Will it be on radio as well? Only TV?
No, radio will be doing other things, but it will be live on Channel 1.
Because yesterday, the classroom people say they missed their madam.
So I think she will be back today. We don't want to interrupt her lessons today. But tune in to Channel 1 TV at 9:30 a.m. for this very important discussion in honor of the great Akoto Ampao.
Nice one.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Gugomi, at what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now
behind Goyle. Neil Atilati is here with the bulletin. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard. It's midweek. Welcome to the breakfast edition of Citi Business News. The bulletin is proudly brought to you by MTN, Goyle and Access Bank. Coming up, IMF reaffirms Ghana's end-year growth rate at 3.1%, in line with the government's target. Also, some local ship manning agencies blacklisted by the Ghana Maritime Authority for engaging in corrupt deals at the port. Plus, transaction value of Bank of Ghana's ECD's pilot hit more than 470 million Ghana cedis. Thanks for joining us this morning. My name is Neil Latte. Details of our stories now. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has reaffirmed its projection for Ghana's economic growth in 2024, maintaining the forecast at 3.1%. This comes as the IMF releases its latest global economic outlook at the ongoing IMF World Bank annual meetings in Washington, D.C. IMF Chief Economist Pierre Oliver outlines key policy recommendations for Ghana to drive future growth, emphasizing the need for a strategic approach which includes easing monetary policy, rebuilding fiscal reserves, and advancing structural reforms in order to stimulate economic expansion.
Policy shifts toward undesirable trade and industrial policies could also significantly lower output. A sharp reduction in migration into advanced economies, which can unwind some of the supply gains that helped ease inflation in recent quarters. This could trigger an abrupt tightening of global financial conditions that would further depress output. And together, these represent about 1.6% of global output in 2026. Now, to mitigate these downside risks and to strengthen growth, policymakers now need to shift gears and implement a policy triple pivot. The first pivot on monetary policy is already underway. The decline in inflation paved the way for monetary easing across major central banks. This will support activity at a time when labor markets are showing signs of cooling with rising unemployment rates. So far, however, this rise has been gradual and does not point to an imminent slowdown. Lower interest rates in major economies will also ease the pressure on emerging market economies. However, vigilance remains key. Inflation in services remains too elevated, almost double pre-pandemic levels, and a few emerging market economies are seeing rising price pressures, calling for higher policy rates.
IMF Chief Economist Pierre Oliver with the global economic outlook at the ongoing IMF annual meetings in Washington, D.C. Meantime, economic analysts are optimistic that the government's current expenditure control measures will continue helping to sustain the relative macroeconomic stability achieved so far. This sentiment comes in response to a Fitch Solutions report forecasting significant budget deficits for several sub-Saharan African countries, including Ghana, by 2025. The report highlights that high debt servicing costs will put upward pressure on government spending, while persistent structural challenges in revenue collection will limit the success of tax-based strategies to reduce deficits. Economist Professor Patrick Esumini, speaking with Citi Business News, advised the government to focus on structural reforms and to maintain fiscal discipline, especially as the 2024 elections approach.
Running over our budget in an election year, it's not something that will be surprising, hugely surprising. In the first 9 months or so of the year, though, it appears that the government has kept within budget. The last information released by the Bank of Ghana suggests that the government is on course to stick with its fiscal program. However, it's still 3 months to go, and usually it's towards the end of the year that all the problems start. So, I have in the past said I expect that there will be some overrun. It's only a matter of extent. I think the article seems to suggest that, it might be substantial. I think it would be rather unfortunate if, having done well so far this year, we allow the last 3 months to completely throw everything out of gear, given the huge sacrifices we have had to make in order to get us to this point from 2023. Someone is going to overspend. It's the government who overspend. So if they are going to overspend, they will overspend. I think we just hope that the institutional strengthening we've done, the expenditure control measures that we've done as part of the IMF program are are good enough to keep government spending in check. The problem has always been the ability of government to hide some expenditures, which eventually might be revealed after the end of the IMF program.
Professor of Finance and Economist, Professor Patrick Esumi there. More on the economy, because the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, is calling on government to implement sustainable macroeconomic measures to enable businesses to thrive within the country. AGI's call comes amidst the Ghana's Index of Industrial Production for the second quarter of 2024, which grew by 8.2% year-on-year compared to 92.2% in the same period last year. The growth was driven by strong performances in the mining and quarrying subsectors, which saw an 8.2% increase, and manufacturing, which posted an 8.3% growth. But at a stakeholders meeting to discuss inclusive business and green economy, CEO for AGI, Seth Chum Akwabwa, stressed the need for more sustainable initiatives to foster growth of businesses.
Normally, what happens is that when we have macroeconomic stability and businesses can predict the business environment in terms of the economic arrangement, it could be exchange rates, it could be inflation, it could be interest rates. If you have it in a certain stable manner, businesses can plan, and on the basis of that plan, they can invest. And as they invest, you see the numbers growing. So it is very important that we have stability, and I can say that if you compare this year to the recent previous years, this year has been reasonably stable until recently that we had a bit of the cedi depreciation coming in a little bit. Generally speaking, if you compare, it's been relatively stable. So for that reason, I'm not surprised that we are seeing growth. And this is what we've been talking about all the time. And let's have reasonable macroeconomic stability, a predictable environment. Then people can do business. And when we do business that way, you see the growth happening.
Seth Chumakwabwa is the Chief Executive Officer for the Association of Ghana Industries. You are listening to the breakfast edition of Citi Business News on 97.3 Citi FM. To more business stories now, and the Ghana Maritime Authority has blacklisted some local ship mining agencies for allegedly engaging in corrupt activities. The agencies are accused of charging exorbitant fees to train seafarers in exchange for facilitating their recruitment and employment on fishing vessels. Furthermore, they were found to be taking post-dated checks from some seafarers, a practice which violates maritime law. By reacting to the development with Citi Business News, the Executive Secretary for the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Asaki Awingomit, expressed his support for the authorities' actions aimed at sanitizing the maritime sector.
Ghana cannot be blacklisted in the maritime organization, because if this continues, it means that the local chapter, which is a GMA, representing the IMO in Ghana here, are not doing their work. Then they can be sanctioned by the IMO. And so, if they have taken a swift action, I think that is the best way to go, so that let people who do the general job be in businesses, and those who want to scam, to the extent that you are not even afraid, you do not even fear God, that you are making this amount of money from these seafarers, yet you want a potential unemployed person who, and of course, while you are looking for jobs, people are desperate. And so they also end up falling to these cheap people who will say, you must give me money before I place you on a vessel. And so if the government is taking this action at this point in time, the best thing as a maritime person like me is to support the GMA to do the right thing.
Samson Asaki Awingobit is the Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. The Bank of Ghana's ECD pilot has achieved a major milestone, recording a transaction value of 473 million Ghana cedis with over 96,000 transactions during the testing phase. But how will this impact Ghana's financial architecture? More in the following report.
A recent report from the Bank of Ghana highlighted significant progress in the ECD pilot, the central bank digital currency. The pilot recorded a total transaction value of 473 million Ghana cedis and a transaction volume of 96,000. The transactions involved both principal users, such as financial service providers and their customers. While most of the transactions were conducted online, offline transactions also played a notable role. Offline transactions accounted for 0.004% of the total transaction value and 0.0475% of the volume. This phase aimed to test the feasibility of the ECD as a digital complement to the physical currency, incorporating online and offline use cases to address the needs of urban, peri-urban, and rural areas. The report emphasized the pilot's potential to advance broader objectives, including financial inclusion, more efficient payment systems, and improved access to formal financial services, particularly for those in remote areas. Given the pilot's success, the Bank of Ghana is considering the next steps towards a potential full-scale implementation of the ECD. However, First Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Maxwell Poku-Afari, noted that while the pilot phase was successful, it is crucial to prioritize economic stabilization before moving forward with such an initiative.
Citi Business News' Daniel Sakite with that report. And with that in mind, let me take you to the Forex market, where the dollar could be sold to you at 16 cedis 45 pesos, the British pound at 21 cedis 10 pesos, that of the euro going for 18 cedis 20 pesos. And that's it for the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goyle and Access Bank. My name is Neil Atilati, and I wish you a good business day.
For over 60 years, Good Energy has served you top quality fuels. Goyle brings you Super XP for a smooth ride. It is available in Goyle stations nationwide. Goyle Super XP is fortified with special additives which help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Goyle Super XP is quality fuel, the ideal choice for most vehicles. Energize your ride with Goyle Super XP. Who feel ya? Huh? Who be feel? Good energy. Jodia.
You just heard the Citi Business News, probably brought to us by MTN. MTN's yellow biz is out there. It's been put on the market and it's a game changer for SMEs. Just call 0244-308-111 and find out all the goodies you can enjoy when it comes to MTN yellow biz. Remember, T's and C's apply. Visit any MTN service center to find out more. Coming up next is Kickoff. Bernard Abeku is in the building. Kickoff is probably brought to us by Zonda. Zonda is the company that helps you when you are doing your heavy duty stuff and all the construction related things. They've got excavators, trucks, pickups, payloaders, everything you need. So just call them on 0501 772222 to find out more. Zonda, built in Ghana, building Ghana. Kickoff is also brought to us by Polytank, the only trusted name when it comes to water storage. They've been doing this for 30 years and they know their stuff. Certainly the first, the best, and the original. Polytank, Papa Nye. After a heavy night of Champions League football and some other top football news and other things happening in the world of sport, let's get into Kickoff with Bernard Abeku.
Here's Vinicius Junior. He's on the hat-trick. He's going to get it.
Of a problem. I think we as Ghanaians would have to look at our challenges holistically. We have a league going on in Ghana, a Premier League. One of the questions I always ask is there any country in this world that assembles all foreign-based players to play in the national team?
Black Starlets assistant coach Nana Kweku Ajiman is backing Black Stars head coach Otoado after coming under so much pressure in the last two AFCON qualifiers. All of that plus some news coming in the next 10 minutes with me, Bernard Abeku. Many thanks to Shell, Leshel, Zonda GH and Polytank Ghana, Papa Nunye, for helping us do this. Well, let's start from what everyone is waiting for, the night of drama, the UEFA Champions League result from last night. Well, let's start off from Italy, and in their first head-to-head clash since 2003, AC Milan secured their maiden UEFA Champions League victory of the season with a 3-1 triumph over a 10-man Club Brugge, handing the visitors their second defeat in 3 league phase match days. Red Star Belgrade were handed a third straight defeat in the league phase of the UEFA Champions League as AS Monaco convincingly won 5-1, and at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal survived a tricky test to battle past Shakhtar Donetsk 1-0, extending their unbeaten home record in the UEFA Champions League group stage league phase matches to 10, 9 wins and a draw. Here's what Mikel Arteta thinks about the performance.
Well, I think 2 very different halves. The first one that we were very dominant, created 4 big chances, that obviously we should have converted them and put the game to bed with the amount of dominance and territory that we had. The second half very different. We looked tired. We lacked that sharpness with and without the ball to regain the ball in the right moments as well in the right areas, and with the ball giving certain balls away that allows certain transition. We had 2 big chances again, missed a big penalty. Obviously, that emotion again, it was difficult to overcome, and then we have to dig in. But credit to them, they are a good side. The moment you allow them a space, you don't finish actions, and you give them the chance to run, they are a real threat. But overall, it's Champions League, get the win, clean sheet, let's move on.
Let's also hear from Shakhtar Donetsk head coach Marino Pusic, who believes his side deserved more from the game against Arsenal.
Well,
I would say it was very close, and we were chasing for the equalizer until the end of the game. So that's what I asked from my team, and that's how I change. Also, I put all our attacking possibilities into the game. I couldn't change Riznik because I need a goalkeeper, or even if him I would change to score the equalizer. But you have also to deal with the quality of the opponent, of course. You play Arsenal away. It's an amazing team, like I said. And so they can also defend as hell. So we did our best, and one more time, I'm proud of my team, how we performed tonight.
Well, at the Villa Park, Aston Villa continue their perfect start to the UEFA Champions League campaign as they outclassed Bologna in a 2-0 win, becoming the first UEFA Champions League debutant since Leicester City in 2016-2017 to not concede in their opening 3 games. Here is manager Unai Emery.
Yes, we are playing seriously. We are playing focused, responsible, and the team is progressing, being mature in everything. And of course, we show it today. We played a match respecting them, trying to have the control like we want with our idea, trying to get good positioning, try to progressively break their press man to man. And we had chances in the first half. Of course, we conceded something the first 15 minutes, but we reacted very well. And I think Champions League is very difficult. Europe is very difficult. We were speaking before the match.
Girona picked up their first win in the European football as they beat SK Slovan Bratislava 2-0 in last night's UEFA Champions League action at Allianz Arena despite missing a penalty. Stuttgart dramatically won 1-0 against Juventus in their first competitive meeting with the Bianconeri, ensuring that the Italians would relinquish their perfect record this term in shocking fashion. PSG were held to a 1-1 draw by PSV in the French capital. Holders Real Madrid avoided defeat for a 15th straight UEFA Champions League home game as Borussia Dortmund lost their spot at the top of the table after squandering a 2-0 lead to lose 5-2 in a dramatic encounter. Here's Madrid's Luka Modric.
It's two opposite halves for us. First one, we were really bad, to say like this, to be honest, because we let Borussia play too easy. We were far from them. We were not aggressive, and that was the sum of the first half. But second half we talked and we said that we need to be more aggressive, press more higher on the pitch, and to score first goal and then get fans behind us. Like it always happened at Bernabeu, and then we changed the game completely, and this is the way how we need to play. And
let's do more and to some more games coming up in the UEFA Champions League at 4:30. At 4:45 p.m. 2 matches are on the table. Atalanta up against Celtic, Brest versus Bayern Leverkusen. For the 7 p.m. batch of matches is Atletico Madrid up against Lille, Barcelona up against Bayern Munich, Benfica face off with Feyenoord, and Manchester City up against Sparta Prague, and Leipzig up against Liverpool, Salzburg versus Dynamo Zagreb, and Young Boys up against Inter Milan. Let's now move from the UEFA Champions League. Now, Nottingham Forest owner Evangelos Marinakis has been given a 5-match stadium ban for spitting on the floor as match officials walked past in the tunnel. An independent regulatory commission has indicated. Well, Marinakis was found guilty of improper conduct for the incident following Forest 1-0 Premier League defeat by Fulham at the City Ground on September 28. Let's now come down to Ghana. Our Ghana's beach soccer team, the Black Sharks, put on an impressive display, defeating Tanzania 10-3 in their third Group A match at the beach soccer AFCON, and the win secures Ghana the third spot in Group A, and they will now compete against third place team from Group B to vie for the 5th position. To some national team news, and Black Starlet assistant coach Nana Kweku Ajeman is urging for the selection of more locally based players in the senior national team, the Black Stars of Ghana, during call-ups. He believes the players from the domestic league would bring greater zeal and passion to representing the country. Additionally, he voiced his support for retaining Otto Addo as the head coach, stating that Addo is not to blame entirely for the Black Stars' recent struggles.
I don't think the coach is so much of a problem. I think we as Ghanaians would have to look at our challenges holistically. We have a league going on in Ghana, a Premier League. One of the questions I always ask is there any country in this world that assembles all foreign-based players to play in the national team? Once you do that, then it's as if we don't have belief in our local league. These foreign-based players are very, very good players, but I think we should find local-based players to give them a little bit of challenge in the camp. They should know that if I'm not there, somebody's picking up my position. You know what I mean? Again, the local-based players are players that are really looking for all these opportunities. If we put them up, mix them up with these foreign-based players, I think that we can achieve a lot.
Well, away from that, CAF's president, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, has reiterated the critical need for countries to prioritize investment in sport infrastructure, highlighting its pivotal role in nurturing football talent from the grassroots. His message comes at a time when Ghana is grappling with its own infrastructure challenges, exemplified by CAF's recent decision to revoke the license of the Barbara Sports Stadium. This serves as a stark reminder of the need for consistent maintenance and development of sports facilities to sustain progress in the sport, and particularly here in Ghana.
Because you cannot build a stadium, you cannot build a lot of the infrastructure for football without the support and the partnership of government. So I'm very, very proud that a lot of good progress has been made, and many of the governments are helping us. One of the problems we have is there are still too many countries in Africa that have to play their football outside their country. You cannot develop football in your nation, in your country, if you've got to play outside. So there's a huge amount of focus to ensure that every one of the 54 nations has got at least one stadium that's at the level of the CAF and FIFA standards.
That's your sports. For more sports stories, log on to citisportsonline.com. Join us at 5 p.m. for the very latest in the world of sport. Thanks to Shell, Leshell, Zonda GH, and Polytank Ghana, Papa Nunye. I am Bernard Bakery. Sport is life. Get involved.
Hey, well, yo, I did tire for Abu Chef. See, everything I do, Abu won't do some. Last year, I bought a cattle farm in Yanton. I see you go buy a farm.
Just get them on. And in the famous words of Mr. King, why can't
Will you miss Parliament? Will you miss Parliament? I want you to send me a voice note. How do I even frame this properly? So Nathan, based on what Bambabin has done, we may not have a Parliament sitting till the election. It's possible they may come, they may not come, I don't know. The majority leader, or the MPP, whatever, Mr. Afenyo Marking, he says you trigger a recall of Parliament on Wednesday. All right. So, and based on what they did yesterday, it's very possible that they will go and do the same. I'm sitting on the left, I'm sitting on the right, kind of thing. Okay, so the question I have for the public is, will you miss? And this is not a trivial question, because I know that Parliament is important. I know that Parliament is important, right? Yesterday, the online editor sent me a list of bills that have to be passed by Parliament, and that will not basically, that because of what has happened, we will not pass. All right, so they're about, and maybe I'll let Caleb take me through, they're about 8 or 9 bills or whatever. But the question is, will you miss Parliament? All right. And yesterday, in the interview Sanda had with Afenyo Marking, he said the government had voted 65 million CDs for this recent feud. They came back just like 2 weeks ago. For that small 2 weeks, it was 65 million CDs. All right. So will you miss Parliament? Second question: is Parliament really justifying the amount we're spending on them? This question should not be taken out of context. We need the legislature, so I'm not saying we don't need a Parliament. But based on the way they've conducted themselves, based on all that's going on there, based on the way they clamor to get into Parliament, because when we go around doing the constituency, people really want to go to Parliament as MPs. And then when you compare that to what we see
when they get there,
and I'm not even looking at just the fighting. I'm even looking at the quality of work. All right. So, for example, there's a tax exemption that needs to be granted, and there are laws that need to be passed. The level of detail. Of course, Parliament is not just the MPs. There's also the parliamentary services, the clerks, and all of those guys who do a really good job. Okay, but I think that Parliament has brought this scrutiny upon itself. All right. So we didn't. I mean, in the past, I don't know. Prior to 2 weeks ago, there was no real Parliament news. We were doing our normal things, and then Parliament came on the scene. In fact, I even argue that the resumption of Parliament interfered with our Galamsey crusade. Yeah. I argue that the resumption, because when they were not in the house, there's a sense in which when Parliament is in session, the way we allocate news coverage as media houses is executive and then legislature in importance. So if the president says something, it will have to be in your news bulletin. Yeah. If something happens in Parliament, it will be in your news bulletin as well. So somehow, Parliament sometimes undeservedly gets the news attention when they don't really deserve it. Okay. And I really think we need to revise our notes as media on what's, because I feel like and again, what's happening in Parliament is important. All right. But if you look at where is it leading us? Is it really of consequence if you compare it to what's happening with Galamsey and the kind of attention? And we've all been distracted. But it's a difficult choice to make, because if two people say they are majority and they are basically at each other's neck, you cannot leave that and say, let me continue my Galamsey fight. You will sound, it's like you live from. So I'm inviting listeners to help me. Has the attention we've given Parliament been deserved in the past 2 weeks? All right, listeners, and I want you to help me. I really want you to help me. I'm not asking this question lightly, because I've been thinking about the way we work, and I'm asking myself, has all of this attention been okay? What have we gained from all of this? All right, What have we gained from all of this?
Instead of thinking about who gon' die today, the Lord is gonna help you feel better. So you ain't got
So I want listeners to help me. I want listeners to help me today. Whether they will miss Parliament because Speaker has closed Parliament senior day. Apenny Makin says he will ask for a recall on Wednesday. I'm not even sure even if they do a recall, they'll have a proper sitting because most of them are campaigning. A lot of them didn't turn up yesterday. And has the attention we've given Parliament been justified? And you were not here when I was making the point.
Well,
what I'm asking is, has this past 2 weeks been worth it? Because
yes,
here we were almost getting a government to make more concessions. They basically did make some concessions. They agreed to revoke the LI. They sent some soldiers. We don't even know the soldiers are even there anymore. Because we are not talking about it, the attention around the Galamsey fight has gone. So
actually saw pictures from the Brim River.
Are they still there?
It's getting worse.
You see my point. So in the period that the Galamsey fight was going very well, Parliament was not in session. Okay. So somehow the attention on Parliament, in a sense, has affected or has taken all of us at our focus. Okay. Now, you are saying it's justified because Parliament is an important institution and the rest of it. But if you look at the way they've conducted themselves, the amount of money we spend on them, and if you look at the fact that a lot of them didn't even show up yesterday and that they were still campaigning, and if you look at the fact that a lot of people are dying to go to Parliament, but when you scrutinize the overall work they do, you ask yourself, is this really worth all the fuss? Okay, and then it's almost like the Galamsey fight has suffered in 2 ways. The attention has gone, and based on what's happened, it's very likely that the LI may not be passed because they hadn't even finished laying it properly. Let me just frame it. So if they had come in to say, look, the whole nation is concerned about Galamsey, let's conduct ourselves in a way that will at least enable us repeal this LI to give the people of Ghana one of the things they are asking for. Do you get my point? Based on what I'm seeing, that LI will not be revoked.
Bernard, that is you assuming that the Galamsey fight response you got was in good faith, which I had always never subscribed to on this show. I'm not expressing a different position on this matter. I always told you that the response that we got, we might as well just go back, which is why I told you I had lost hope.
No, but even if it's not in good faith, you need to concede that for the president to direct his Minister of Environment to begin the process of repealing the LI, to state that publicly is progress.
No, I did not see it at that point.
You don't see it as progress?
No, because it could have been done alongside other things that give more effect than just a simple statement. I think
you don't think that the LI revocation is important.
I think that the way our political system works is said that there would have been calculations as to when that LI would have been passed. The same way we have seen the calculations that happened in Parliament last week. You and I have come to know over the period that Parliament does not do anything without calculating.
So you have a cynical view that LI...
Very cynical view. You can call it that. But I don't think my position here is any different from what I had expressed the past few weeks on this matter with regards to a response on the Galamsey issue. And for me, attention on Parliament should not mean that other state institutions were struggling with an ability to do their work. No.
No, but Parliament is key in the revocation of the LI. So what I'm saying is that two arguments. The advocacy resulted in a public directive for what we said we wanted. All of us said the LI should be revoked as point number 3. The president says, I agree with you. So, Minister of Environment, go and begin to revoke the LI.
Whilst the LI is...
And when we're about to do that, then this parliamentary fight occurred and then it sort of scattered. So what I'm saying is that the fact that the president publicly directed the minister to revoke the LI, for those of us who said stop Galamsey, we'll check it off as progress. And then we'll see through the revocation. Okay. Now you're saying you didn't think that it was out of out of good faith, whatever. You can say, if you tell your child to go and kneel down, even if he's kneeling down in the corner angry, he's still kneeling down. Okay, so sometimes we get what we want, not because the person does it willingly, but grudgingly, but but he does it nonetheless. So you could say he did this kicking and screaming, but he started the process. Now, had this whole confusion not occurred, we probably would have had some new LI laid to replace the old one, and then it would have matured. So what I'm trying to say is that Parliament was not in the news. We were fighting our Galamsey fight. Government spent 65 million to bring them back into action. And for the past 2 weeks, they've just wasted everybody's time.
No, they have not.
You don't
see?
think so?
I don't think they have wasted it. You see?
Okay. 65 million, that's what the majority leader said. 65 million for this current, just this first 2 weeks. 65 million cedis.
The thing about democracy and its practice is that you cannot pick and choose which part you like. Parliament had to come back. As to what they came to do when they came back.
But they are coming back. I didn't say they shouldn't come back.
Yes.
I'm saying they are coming, because their coming back could have helped us if we had at least gotten, because there are 10.
But why do you think this coming back has not helped us?
Let me give you an example. Parliament has
bills to pass. I've seen them.
Yes, let me read them for the public. So the free SHS bill has not fully cooked. Social protection bill not fully done.
Yes.
Environment protection bill in the works.
Yes.
Ghana Boundary Commission bill in the works.
Yes.
Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment bill in the works. I'm not done. Fees and charges miscellaneous provisions amendment regulation 2024 in the works. Corporate insolvency restructuring regulation, very important, pushed by Garia and Co. in the works.
Yes.
Prison service parole regulation in the works.
Yeah.
Petroleum downstream Ghana content pass. So that's 8.
Yes, please.
Then you have the LI process. That would have been 9. I'm saying that we give airtime, attention to Parliament.
Yes.
Hoping that, and by the way, the nation's attention on Galamsey was serious.
It still is.
It's been diminished.
Why?
It's been replaced.
Why?
By this parliamentary fight.
Why?
Because you can't do, that's the thing.
We can't chew and walk and chew gum in this country.
When it comes to focus, is that, you see,
we're a country that don't have focus.
No, you must differentiate between balance. You see, one of the tenets of journalism, you must keep the news proportionate and balanced.
Yes.
But there's always the lead.
Yes.
And I'm saying that for the past 6 days, Parliament has led. The thing with the Galamsey is that there's also momentum.
Yes.
So you see, when you are a journalist, you know that when you are covering a story, I think that when the TUC people, when the organized labor people said they were going to go on strike, it was at the highest point of that Galamsey thing.
Yes.
When they decided not to strike, it took off some of the momentum. There's something called momentum. Okay, so what I'm saying is that even though you can cover many stories,
yes,
when every media house decides to focus on Galamsey, it's a different feeling because we are all focused on we actually force the nation to do something.
Yes.
Now, what has happened is that either by design or by accident, it's gotten lower in the priority list of issues. So even if you are deploying your reporters, assuming you're editing a newspaper today, your deployment will be focused on other things. Independent candidates, you ask them, go and do a history of independent candidates and check for me. You do many things because when you look at this, when you scan the environment, you don't want to be out of touch with what is happening. So what I'm saying is that either by accident or by design, this parliamentary thing has taken the steam out of the Galamsey fight for now. Number 2, it has also probably potentially cost us our first victory in the Galamsey fight, which is the LI revocation. Right? And then number 3, 8 other laws which potentially could have been passed may even not get passed. All this happening when people are still struggling to go into parliament. So that I'm asking listeners to tell me, is it really worth it? All the attention we give to it? Don't you think that sometimes we, the media, overemphasize certain things? Maybe we should have said, let's cover the initial thing they did and then cover other things because there are other water is still being polluted. Okay, BC results are out. Parents are concerned about how they will go to school. There are issues of crime. Somebody has knocked somebody's daughter and is dead. Maybe we should be smarter around just following controversy. Because this controversy we followed, how has it benefited us?
No, but the controversy we have followed is key to the growth of the democracy that we practice, whether we want it to or not. You understand? Which is what I'm saying. That's why there are those who raise questions about the suitability of even democracy as a system of governance for this country, will look at this and tell you, well, this is why we tell you this is rubbish. And that we could perhaps come up with something that better suits our circumstances. Because if we had something else, we would not have spent the time focusing on what happened there, but be chasing Galamsey as well and be paying attention to other issues. But this is what we have decided to do. So whether the good or the bad and the cost, we follow it.
But do we have to do it this way? So let me.
No, I get you. Hold on. Your point was very clear.
The point about democracy, I just want to say, if you say a democracy, every country crafts their democracy to suit their circumstance. But it's like we are doing our own some way, which
is why it is good, because you see, the people who are watching, the people that you are asking to hear from, and they will share their views with you, will look at you and will start expressing certain opinions about the democracy. It shapes the minds of the politicians who are listening if they so want it to be. It shapes us as well who are working if we wanted to. It shapes them as well. You see, because then they start asking themselves questions. Oh, so this is how this person thinks. Oh, so this is why this is
but
so.
Will it inform their decisions?
They
will still go and queue and go and do the same voting. They'll do the same.
You see, those things happen. Those things don't come as a tsunami. They come as drops. So you won't expect that based on this, people are suddenly going to get so upset with the system. No. But my thing is this, with the points that you made on whether we wasted time, this or that, on the Ghanaians, and why I'm telling you that either way, what was happening with the Ghanaians would have happened. So the soldiers who have been deployed, what was their business? What was going on in Parliament yesterday?
Yeah, but because we are not following it. As
no,
media,
I'm coming.
For all along I've been quiet. Let me just come in here.
No, I want to ask Alosti something, if you don't mind.
Let me
I
just
beg you.
supply the answer. Yesterday, the impression was created that some people had no business deploying soldiers in Parliament. It has come out that the Parliament of Ghana wrote to them, inviting them that you come and perform routine sweeping of the space. So that if there is some explosive...
he's talking about the soldiers in Parliament.
Yeah, no.
That's what he's talking about.
No.
And
the water body.
His point is that how does the parliamentary controversy affect the soldiers? But who says that?
No, hold on, I'm coming.
Okay.
Yesterday,
our
designated reporter on this matter is Fred Duho. Was he in Parliament?
No, he's in the UK.
He's travelled.
He's in London. No, please don't do that. Fred is in London covering an important conference. Don't do that.
I don't know where he is.
He's breaking through. Don't stop.
I'm not stopping you. I'm not stopping the man.
Because he won't tire for the water inside.
Please enjoy.
He's covering a very important conference.
Yes, but generally speaking.
But
yesterday, hold on.
They didn't even take the soldiers went to them the first week, and then they said they'll give them updates.
But let me land. Near Yite.
Yes.
Okay. It's our parliamentary correspondent.
He was there with Charles Kumi.
Yesterday, that has always been his beat.
With Egbenya.
So, as an institution that works, he was triggered yesterday. So, he became our most important
We
face.
we sent reinforcement.
It doesn't matter, but I'm just saying.
There were 2 reporters.
Yes. But I'm saying that it did not change Philip Latte's work yesterday.
But it changed,
from what he had to do.
It changed our bulletin. It changed our programming. We did. This is the problem. We from Breakfast Show yesterday. We did Parliament and continued till brunch
because
we did it till 2 p.m.
But that is your fault.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that is your fault.
But how is that my fault? Because if your MPs
that is
are
your
going
fault.
to fight, why wouldn't you cover it?
No, because that is how much importance you decided. You could have done it for an hour.
So hold on. Wait.
No, hold on. You could have done. You could have done it for an hour. And then
Galamsey. Let's not undermine the people's right to know. The people have a right to know what is happening in the parliament they have elected.
Exactly, which is the point I've made.
Which is also not
it's to say... It's the democracy you have chosen.
Which is also not
but
to say...
But does that give them all the time?
You decided to.
So it's my fault.
It's your fault.
Listeners, Akote is blaming me.
It's your fault.
Yeah, but it's Parliament's fault, not my fault.
No, Parliament would have sat anyway. Parliament would have done what they did yesterday, Richard Sky. Bar the cameras.
Okay, hold on.
Would Parliament have done what it did yesterday? They would have done what they wanted to do.
But it's not just me. Almost every media house was there from morning.
Yeah, but the people have a right to know what their Parliament is up to.
So which backs my fundamental question. Should the media be wiser in the way we cover controversy?
I don't...
Where in order to keep the news proportional but comprehensive, we say that we will not follow everything that is backing, because we also have a long-term view. Because you see, I am saying that the Galamsey fight was a media-led fight.
And that is not either or. Let me explain. First of all of us agree that it is the duty of Parliament to receive and allow to pass this LI, which would kill the whole exercise of, allocating forest reserves for purposes of mining, because we take strong exception to that. So Parliament coming back, they knew or ought to have known that the biggest thing in Ghana as of the time they were returning to Parliament was Galamsey.
They know.
Yes, they knew that. And in fact, when they were going back after the short recall, they knew that was an issue, because we made it a major issue.
Or did they plan to do this so that it would be better?
You see, it's not everything you say on air.
Oh, is it true?
I've not said anything like that. The point I'm making is that
they knew.
When you are prosecuting food, when you are prosecuting an agenda against a regime or an establishment, as the case may be, they are almost always also thinking about how to take the heat off. Now, it is for you to decide whether you sustain your fight or you dissipate your resources around in a way that doesn't further your interest.
We've been hoodwinked.
No, I've not said that.
You are insinuating that.
I've not.
They will have finished
as to what inferences you are drawing from what I'm saying.
Guilty.
I'm clear in my mind what I'm saying.
No, you have proved that the people finish us.
No, but why are you? I've not said anything to give you.
So this whole thing could have been engineered to just kill our Galamsey.
But I said yesterday on television,
oh Lord,
that the main thing is not what the people were doing in Parliament. We needed to have sustained our fight. Of course, yes. That doesn't mean that we should not tell the people of Ghana what their MPs are up to.
Should we have done it? Should we have? I was asking, for example, we did it from 7 o'clock to 2 p.m.
Bernard,
and not all of everybody did it.
No, Bernard. You see,
right?
you would have noticed that when I was on television and on the radio yesterday, I interspersed my presentations with references to the Galamsey matter, because I didn't want that to get lost on the conscience of the people. The people in Parliament were utterly irresponsible. They knew that Galamsey is destroying our water bodies. And if you know the main thing that Ghanaians care about is Galamsey, do you come and then all you are caring about is whether somebody is in Parliament or not? Whether you sit on the right side or the wrong side?
We've been hoodwinked.
Bernard, you can draw your own inferences. But the point I'm making is that if a Parliament that is fit for purpose listens to the cries of the people, reconvenes, the best use of your time, $65 million Ghana cedis, is not to rise. The first thing you raise is whether somebody should remain in Parliament or not, because you knew or ought to have known that is likely to create a problem, and that your main thing coming to Parliament is to, first of all, address the concerns of the people. Yet people thought that they knew better than the people of Ghana, who were calling for them to return, made an issue that ought not be an issue the main thing. And this is where we are. Our water bodies are still being destroyed. People are still doing illegal mining, and we are back to point zero.
Okay, let me take a break and bring you tech and social media trends, and I'll be happy to hear some views on this and the advice listeners have for media as to how we should manage the attention, because the battle for attention, right? The attention war. How should we manage it so that we don't lose steam?
You should tell our MPs our peace
of
mind.
Because seriously,
they are misbehaving.
You see, I told you that the first night I came, the light was off. Water wasn't flowing. And then I come to work, I'm listening to radio, I'm watching TV, and everybody's talking about who is sitting somewhere. And the road I'm driving on is bad. I'm spending so much on fuel because I'm in traffic for so long a time because of some small pothole. And I've always heard Ghana, we are the first, this unprecedented. Every time I listen to politicians, they say unprecedented, this unprecedented. Then you go somewhere else, you're like, apparently we are not as good as we think we are.
You are busy marching in Parliament when people are dying as a result of Galamsey poison water.
But Ben, tech and social media trends is brought to us
and
by
you say you are a member of Parliament.
Why are you doing this? Wait. Let me finish paying my bills. What's your problem? Why? Hey. You are out of order.
Standing order one.
You are out of order.
Tech and social media trends is brought to us by Telecel and First Bank Ghana. Get ready for more money and even more winners. Telecel More Money promo just got extended for 2 extra months, giving you even more chances to win big. We are now rewarding 4 lucky winners with 30,000 Ghana cedis every week, and 1 million Ghana cedis is the grand prize. Just keep purchasing data or airtime. Reload your data on your fixed broadband to get closer to becoming a millionaire. This is how you opt in for free. Dial star 500 hash, send WIN to 500, or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in for free. T's and C's apply. Is a promo that's regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Telecel is connecting energies. Now, First Bank Ghana says that sending money to Gambia, Guinea, Liberia, Nigeria is very easy. Receiving same is also easy. Pan-African Payment and Settlement Systems, PAPS, is where you can do all that for free together with Telecel. All you need to do is to visit any of our branches nationwide with your cash and you transfer your money. This is how we put you first. For more information, please call 0596 921 921. First Bank, you first.
So it's 8:05 and Nathan will bring us the trends for the morning. Nathan, what's trending this morning?
Well, anyway, let's get into what is hot and trending. So you can imagine, let me hop off, or let me start from where you ended in terms of Parliament. So the related parliamentary trends. NDC MPs, Cynthia Morrison, Parliament, all of these 3 things are trending following yesterday's events and all of that. On the side, you have Cynthia Morrison trending, and there were news stories saying that she was rescinding her initial decision to go independent, but she also says no, she's not going independent, and that she will contest the 2024 elections, as we know that she's going to be there as an independent candidate. So that's also brewing on the side. Following last night's antics in the Champions League, Real Madrid doing their thing again. They beat Dortmund by 5-2. They were down 2-0, and in the second half produced a brilliant performance to win 5-0. So that's also in the trend. Hashtag Real Madrid Dortmund. And the main protagonist on the night, Vinny Jr.
It was a what do you call it?
It's an acceptance statement.
Acceptance statement for the Ballon d'Or, because I think some people were still not sure who was going to win it. I personally think it should have been Rodri, but I think that it will probably go to him or maybe Bellingham. Yes. Yesterday he proved that he's the best.
Yes. So Vinny Jr. playing out a wonderful performance for Real Madrid.
And you know what was even sad? It reminded me of a Liverpool thing. We did a 2-0 and they came to give us 5-2. They did the same thing to Dortmund. It's crazy, man.
So that's that. So Mbappe, Ballon d'Or, or Bernabeu, Ancelotti, all of that. Juventus also trending. The basketball fans are happy because the NBA regular season tipped off last night. The LA Lakers are in the trends. They won their opening game, and in doing so, LeBron James
and his son
played together. The first father and son combo in the NBA, and they all checked into the game at the same time.
I think if there's an argument about the GOAT in basketball, this one adds a little bit more to LeBron.
LeBron played with the how does that add to the
to be able to play at the highest level? A lot of people, their family, they are not able to give attention to their family. For LeBron to play, for his son to play the same craft and rise to play at the same level with him. It's a serious thing.
If your dad is LeBron James, even if you are not that good, the Lakers will give you a contract anyway.
No, you don't get it. The fact that the guy was able to play with the man still playing.
That's what that one.
It talks about LeBron James' longevity.
That's not in doubt.
And the fact that his son can also play at the highest level. Because okay, wait. Where is Johan Cruyff's son? Johan Cruyff was one of the best footballers. His son didn't play. A lot of footballers, their kids don't play that well.
Yeah.
Because
LeBron James' son is not that good.
But he's in NBA. He's playing.
He was scoreless last night.
So you're saying he's the only guy that?
But he was signed. You know, he was. 50,
so it's not that great.
He was 50 something on the draft. If your dad is LeBron James, you'll be signed anyway.
Okay, I get you. So it's not like
it's not like some wild. No way.
It's not like Andre and Jordan playing.
No.
Oh, okay.
But LeBron, I give him props. For sitting down
cool.
and engineering all of this.
I thought the guy was really good.
No. Bronny.
Okay.
Anyway,
but still, it's an achievement.
But it's an achievement. Father and son combo. I like that. He's done well. He's guiding his son. I'm sure he will retire after this season knowing that his son is in safe hands.
I hear you.
Anyway,
I hear you.
the Celtics also won their opening game. The Boston Celtics, they are defending NBA champions. Finally, on the trends, today is the quarterfinal day of the NSMQ. There are, all kinds of interesting contests. The Accra Academy is featuring in the first contest. So we wish them the very, very best. Blow for life.
They'll go and do
No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Trust me.
Whether you rush home or you come home, Bello, you are still home.
Down there, we'll be okay.
What is that all? Or you have some tech news
I wanted to give you some tech news. I wanted to give you some very interesting tech news. Well, I don't know where. Good. I found it. The tech news.
I came to confuse you.
Yeah, boys won't disturb me, but they lie. Anyway, so there's an interesting thing happening here in the UK, right? Now, a UK regulator has done some studies, and they've noticed that there was a clear connection between a violent disorder in England and Northern Ireland in the summer and posts on social media and messaging apps. Now, this study was done by Ofcom, and they put out an open letter signed by their boss, Dame Melanie Dawes, who said, such wild and crazy content spread widely and quickly online following the stabbings in Southport in July, which preceded the disorder. She added that most online services took rapid action, but said the responses of some firms were uneven. Now, experts say that this shows the power and responsibility social media platforms have, and they need to do better in regulating conduct and how people behave or misbehave on the app.
Thank you very much, Nathan. on what we did wrong, and this is collectively as as a media, and how we can get back on track, right? You know, maybe the speaker has helped us by even closing the whole thing. All right, here are some of your requests coming through. Good morning, Bernard. Happy birthday to Roland Kwe, managing partner of New Rage Agric Solutions, and FVV Foods. On behalf of all staff and management, we want you to know we appreciate you, Mr. Roland Kwe. Happy birthday to Mami Ekuya Ejewa of Glofet. Today is her birthday. She's my wife, and I want to wish her a blessed birthday. Coming in from Isaac Boatin Kumi to his lovely wife, Mami Ekuya Ejewa of Glofet and of Cedar Mountain Church. Your husband sent this message very early. Yeah, he's been thinking about you.
Yeah, man.
Happy birthday to okay, I think I read that already. Let's do a few quick announcements before we come to your voice messages on this reflection on where we are with the whole Galamsey Parliament and all of those things.
Yeah. So here we go. Senate is saying that death is inevitable. When the unexpected happens to you, what are you going to do? How are your loved ones, your spouse and family that you cherish most going to survive? Senate comes in to protect you if you're a contributor to the scheme. It has an inbuilt life policy that pays your loved ones a lump sum when you are no more. Survivors of Senate members qualify for survivors benefit. So join them. Terms and conditions apply. Contact them on 0302-611-622 on all socials at Senate Ghana. Now, do you find yourself going through the pain of sore throat, nasal congestion, and need quick relief? Lozati lozenges is 100% natural and refreshing throat lozenges with 7 years with 7 pleasant tasting flavors, and is here to help you. It's available in several flavors. We have honey and lemon, ginger, peppermint, orange, and cola, with 2 sugar-free formulations, propolis and strawberry. Sugar-free for those managing their sugar level. So contact Unicom Chemist Limited on 0302-324-595. 0302-324-383 is an advert approved by the FDA. Lozati lozenges, 30 seconds, instant relief from sore throat.
Now, if you're a customer of Enterprise Insurance, wonderful, then you know about Enterprise Advantage Points. If you are not, sign up to this great news. Now you get great points and you score awesome rewards by making purchases, renewing policies, and doing a lot more on the self-service portal or the Enterprise Advantage app. And you can use these points to do all kinds of amazing things. Go to myenterprise.net.gh or download the Enterprise Advantage app to get started. Enterprise Advantage Points, because nothing you do should be pointless. Enterprise is your advantage. Now, you want to enjoy your retirement, you want to live in a great place. Lakeside Estates exclusive retirement homes are what you need. They have 2, 3, and 4 bedroom homes designed in a unique and serene environment. They've got great facilities to go with the homes. Remember, Lakeside Estates are your CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year, and they want to make your retirement home of comfort a reality. Call them on 020-477-5042 or visit their website, lakesideestate.com. Lakeside Hills, live your best life. Lakeside Estate, quality homes for all.
So from Accra to Nairobi, London to New York, Ashesi graduates are noticed and they are leading successful careers. Their reality is that within 6 months of graduation, they launch their career, start their own business, or embark on advanced studies. This can be your story too, regardless of what you choose to study. And Ashesi Education gives you a strong foundation for life. So visit ashesi.edu.gh to learn more about the Ashesi Advantage. Remember that admission is ongoing. And if you need funds for that major project you've been postponing for some time because you do not have the means, Zenith Bank has got you covered with a loan of up to 250,000 Ghana cedis. Open a Zenith salary account today and have access to a loan of up to 250,000 Ghana cedis. Visit any of our branches. Open a Zenith salary account today. Terms and conditions apply. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Now, with Buy Now Pay Later with Symmetro, you can now buy a sleek and trendy smartphone and enjoy the luxury of paying in convenient weekly or monthly installments. And all these phones come with 2 GB free data, so you can share all the news and scoops for the first 6 months after purchase. Go to an MTN service center, choose your phone, and get on that plan. Stay on the smart side of life with MTN and Symmetro. And the new order of retirement is here. Old Mutual is giving you an opportunity to get a guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your life. Simply invest a lump sum into the Old Mutual retirement salary plan today and start receiving monthly income to enjoy your perfect retirement. Get in touch with Old Mutual on 050-453-4333 or visit oldmutual.com.gh. Old Mutual do great things every day.
Every day. And if you want a British degree at a fraction of the cost, vibrant student community, well, you have good student experience and have useful employability skills, I'm introducing to you Lancaster University, Ghana. They offer up to 50% scholarship for your degree, and their faculty are trained to UK standards. Visit www.lancaster.edu.gh. Number to call 020-960-7008. Email admissions@lancaster.edu.gh. Lancaster University Ghana is the only British university campus in West Africa.
Well, we're taking voice notes on this very important question I'm asking. And it's a different questions, right? So Parliament, we are giving them attention for 2 weeks. Somehow, the Speaker has adjourned Parliament indefinitely. So essentially, they may not be able to do the LI. We also have 8 bills that they may not be able to pass. Have we been hoodwinked as media? Did we overemphasize the parliamentary controversy against other things? Have we let the people down? Can we salvage the Galamsey fight? What else can we focus on? The other question for you, whilst you're sending voice notes, what should our priority be as a media between now and elections? What should we focus our attention on? Okay. Should we cover the campaigns? Should we raise the issues that we want the politicians to focus on? So, for example, should we say politicians are campaigning for this, but we should focus on that because we think they should rather come on that? We need your help, right? So send us a voice note. Let me take 2 final announcements and then I'll play out some of your voice notes.
Yes,
this is us sitting asking listeners to help us because the thing is on way.
And this is for all the female entrepreneurs, agribusiness owners, young entrepreneurs out there. ABSA says, we see you. We understand the challenges you face, but we still believe that your stories matter and we're here to support every step of the way. In partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, ABSA is offering SME loans an unbelievable 10% interest rate per annum. So imagine having access to up to 1 million Ghana cedis completely collateral free. It isn't just talk. We have already disbursed 600 million Ghana cedis and we've been supporting over 1,600 businesses within the past year. We're especially proud that 67.3% of our beneficiaries are women-owned enterprises. So if you're ready to write the next chapter of your success story, visit our SME project office nearest ABSA branch or absa.com.gh because your story matters. ABSA.
Yeah, and we all are busy people. We go around our day. We need energy to take us through. That's why Lucozade is here.
Yeah,
and they are saying that all this energy is packed in a great-looking can. Same old energy, lovely-looking can is the Lucozade Original 330 ml can. So go ahead, grab your sleek Lucozade can and discover the same unbeatable energy with every sip. Lucozade, restore your energy, and this ad is FDA approved.
Happy birthday to Hikma Farouk. Coming in from your husband. You are the product manager for personal installment loans at ABSA. Yesterday was your birthday.
Yeah, man.
Coming in from your husband and your kids. Have a special day.
Yeah.
You are known as Hiki.
Oh, is this not Chichumutu?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
This is my friend Alidu Nasser's wife.
Ah, okay.
It's different from
This is the tax man.
Yeah, no. Alidu is not a tax man. Alidu is I don't even know what he does these days, Charlie. But his wife works at ABSA.
Okay.
So Hikma, happy birthday. You want to give her a new name? That's not her name, please. I beg.
Bernard. I think I really admire your passion for the progress of this country. I really do. Actually, sometimes it gives some of us hope, and then we have to stay back, and then whatever decisions we have taken, we just have to go back and then reconsider. It keeps us going, and I really must say I really admire it. However, the issue of the Galamsey, Chairman, we lost that fight long ago. Oh, we lost that fight long ago. Bernard, you're the one, giving the analysis on basket and eggs, the scenarios of basket and eggs. Now, I must say, we don't even have any basket at all. Our eggs are in our hands. Yes, we don't have any basket at all to put our eggs in. We lost. In fact, we started losing that fight when organized labor thing happened. Our traditional rulers are not doing anything. As for our politicians, they are not even a no-go area. So as for the Galamsey thing, please don't blame yourself too much. Take it easy. We have lost the thing already. We just have to regroup and then come back hard. I think that's what we would have to do. If organized labor and the other organizations have done the strike as intended and should have hit very hard, I'm not sure the MPs will have the luxury of time to be doing all these things that they did yesterday. But we have given them the opportunity to do that. After organized labor didn't strike and all that, this LI thing and all that, we know, Charlie, the thing there, we lost the thing already. We just have to go back, regroup, and then come back hard. So please, calm your nerves. Don't go too hard on yourself.
Hi, Bernard. Good morning to you and your team. I like your optimism. I like the fact that you actually believe the withdrawal of the LI would have done something to the Galamsey fight. No, it won't. First off, the LI was passed by the same people who are asking for the withdrawal. Why? Did they not see it? Did they not see the problems with it before the president assented to it? By the tenets of the law, mining around water bodies or in water bodies is illegal. Whether LI is revoked or not, it's still illegal. But what do we see today? Are the decision makers saying they don't know what is happening? So this whole Galamsey business, I think that we are not ready and willing to fight it, because if we did and we're serious about it, we won't be doing what we are doing now. No.
Hello, Bernard. Good morning. This is K from La. I'm happy that you've accepted that you are wrong, and I really appreciate such a humbling acceptance. What I would say is that, yes, the media is at fault, because the media and broadcasting practice here is sort of not only traditional media, digital media and the other media platforms. It's based on recency, trends, and.
Good morning, Bernard and team. Well, concerning what we all did wrong, I don't really think we all did something wrong, because every media station or every media outlet becomes popular due to its wide listenership. And I believe everybody wants to be part of the trend, what is going on, what is happening. Everyone wants to be abreast with the current trends. They want to know what is happening. Yesterday, for instance, a lot of us had to stay home and follow keenly with Channel 1 to find out what will be happening. at the Parliament House. I think a lot more has to do with also our minds, what and how and what we always want to feed our minds with. Yes, you talked about Galamsey for a while, and this Parliament thing came, and you are right. Everybody's attention has been drifted. I don't think that we should all blame ourselves much. We didn't do anything wrong. In any case, I even sent Citi a voice note on how we have not had water for 12 days in Tema community for anything virus. But I think it's because the attention was on what was going to happen in Parliament yesterday. I realized that my voice note was not even listened to or considered. So we all follow the trends. The media brings us the trends, and then we all follow. Have a nice day. My love to Richard Sky.
Good morning, Bernard and team. I think that Ghanaians are gradually and generally becoming intolerable due to the lack of proper governance and the lack of the show of proper leadership in our systems across board. I recall, and I'll give two examples. I recall when President Mills, the late President Mills, was ill, how people prayed for him and all that. And I'm comparing that to how people are almost wishing Nana Bediutu, the president's secretary, dead. And you can see the outpour of social media comments and other things. And you juxtapose that to that of the late president's illness. And you can tell that Ghanaians have really become something else out of frustration, yeah, if I should say. Number two, I remember as a child, Senegal '92. I was very little, but I remember how heartbroken I was when Ghana lost the game. Now, compare that to Ghana losing to Ghana losing yesterday. It is, and then our response and other things. I think that something has got to be done. We need to do something. Thank you, Bernard.
Alowski. So you are asking us to be happy that no. We don't even want the Black Star to qualify. Because the people will come back.
All right, let's read a few comments. This is the Citi Breakfast Show. We're straight into other areas.
Good morning, Bernard. By the way, on my way to Nairobi, I met the Black Stars at the airport. Charlie Otuado was not happy.
They were coming or leaving?
They were leaving for Libya.
Oh, for the one they were now going to lose.
Inaki spoke to us.
They didn't know that. So this was when they were going.
When they were leaving, yes.
After the
goalless
draw.
Yeah. Then they went to chop 2-0. Oh, Charlie.
You met them at the airport.
You give them bad luck.
Oh, stop that.
Because
no, they were carrying the bad luck.
The time the people are playing you say, you two are still watching them.
I didn't even watch the game.
I was
doing all that. The way I saw it,
next time when the people are traveling,
they will meet me.
Charlie, go on.
Okay.
Don't mind it.
Good morning, Bernard. To be sincere with you, organized labor let us down massively by rescinding their decision to go on strike to help fight Galamsey Ni Lawe Okai send that through. Stephen from Laboni says, Bernard, you're right. We've lost ground in the Galamsey fight. 2 weeks ago, it dominated social media and traditional media, but now it's no longer in the spotlight. As for me, I feel that parliamentarians planned this, shaking my head, Stephen Hart. I think Richard Sky is right. The parliament has finished us. They tricked the whole country. It sometimes surprises me how some people are hopeful that things would work well when we continue relentless and sustained.
Are you confusing us or are you confusing
It
us?
sometimes surprises me how some people are hopeful that things would work well when continuous, relentless, and sustained conduct of the leaders at the highest levels clearly says otherwise. Okay, well noted. Hello, Bernard and team. Good morning. The impression created this morning that it was solely Parliament's shenanigan that dampened the fight or noise around Galamsey is not entirely true, and at least you, Bernard, alluded to the same. The hysteria around Galamsey was already already on the downward spiral before all these events. You could barely hear anything about Galamsey, except a few mentions here and there.
Yeah, that's an
Kofi
interesting.
from
That's true.
Soweto.
That's
I
true.
think organized labor
He
really
sustained the fight.
But it was, he's right. Generally, after the organized
labor
thing,
but we didn't give up the fight.
But we are not the
because-
only person. The thing was that generally, if you even monitor, for example, monitor the Saturday shows and what they've discussed for the past 3 weeks.
No, I think it's always been nobody made Galamsey Saturday discussion.
No, Sky,
throughout the three.
Don't litigate this. What I'm saying is that even editorially, right? If you look at for the past 2.5 weeks, Galamsey had been.
I have been away for what?
Yeah, so
about 10 or more days. No. As of the time that I was leaving. As of the time that I was leaving.
Yeah, but
even the day that I left, Galamsey was still the biggest.
You've been away for almost 2 weeks. And in the 2 weeks, if you're away for almost no.
to deal with some other matter.
You're not listening to me. The gentleman is saying that there was already a reduction in the intensity prior to the parliament. So hold on. That doesn't mean that the parliament thing also didn't take some of the attention.
Yes,
but the point is true. What she's saying that the thing had already started diminishing before the parliament thing came to finally.
You and I came.
So let's not legislate this. Okay, just read
Bernard,
I'll come back.
KK says I've always stated that this
Hold on, my
parliament.
brother. You and I came.
Let him finish.
They say you're out of order.
You
want to move to majorities? I've always stated that this parliament is like my 3 arts class in secondary school, mischievous and unserious. Every day is for catching crews.
The question is, did you pass from that 3 arts class? Did you pass?
Trust your well, Citi CBS team. I was disappointed that all the media houses fell for the diversionary tactics that was played by the politicians yesterday. I believe it's a learning curve for all of us. The media has the power to set the agenda. It's not too late. Dear Citi CBS team, don't you think if the majority in parliament changes, it could indeed speed up the repeal of an act and also push the executive to compromise on certain issues that benefit citizens? Hakim is sending that question through. It seems the government is stalling or delaying postponing things till after election, just like someone mentioned a few days ago. All these delays and excuses only confirm that we shouldn't expect any significant decisions or actions from the government until then. If they truly wanted to, they could have addressed the LI issue long ago. It's unrealistic to think that the government will make any meaningful changes in its final 2 months. Honestly, they might as well take a break and save us from the money.
Save us some money
for the next couple of months. We need a change. Courage from Kofredia.
We don't. Just to say, we don't stop paying MPs because they have gone back to their constituency. We will continue to pay them.
That's the painful thing.
Yeah. So
I think we should do work and pay.
And for how long you stay there?
Work and pay.
Yeah, but they will
because they do it to the workers. Sometimes they say when you go on strike,
they don't pay.
Yeah, but they will tell you that
their work
MP's
is
job
not
is not just about sitting in a chair. Let me read this comment. So this is one from my good friend Michael, who is a lawyer listening to us. He says that I think the leadership of Parliament has failed us. Without any need for comparison, I believe the leadership of Chairman Sabonsu and Haruna Idrisu would have solved this issue. It appears to me that both leaders are hot-headed and do not appreciate dialogue. I'm not happy with them.
There's a couple more coming through on the show as well. But you were making a point. So, Sky, what I was saying, which I want you to, you see, sometimes we don't listen to each other. We have all admitted that the Galamsey fight has come down. All we are doing is to look at the trajectory. Okay. Initially, the submission was to the effect that it was the parliamentary thing that had taken the steam off. And somebody was pointing out to us that they noticed that even before the parliament thing, our attention on the thing had come down. And then you say you disagree. And I say, you are not in Ghana because you are studying. So there's no you even know this. I was here.
He was keeping an eye.
And I said that. At some of the time I was even leaving. I spoke about the matter. And I even made it clear that, look, Parliament coming back. Look, it is not as if without Parliament, the government doesn't have a job to prosecute the Galamsey.
Exactly.
They have the job to do that. Now, what we want as added impetus is ensuring that there's a legislative effort to remove the whole idea of getting people into the forest itself to do what they are doing in the first place. But you see, as I said to you, governments and of course the opposition, if it suits them, they don't go to sleep just because, they don't go to sleep when you are on their neck. They will also do what they have to do to ensure that, first of all, can we get into organized labor? Can we, get a few people to put a few knives in there so that, they will pull the brakes? If they pull the brakes, does that inure to our benefit in any way?
Absolutely.
We have been spending so much money to push, campaign messages out there. We are playing adverts on the radio. We want our policy matters to be discussed. Yet for some reason, every morning, Citi FM, every day is so how do we get the people to get off our neck? Let's throw something at them so that they think about that too. I'm not saying that that's what has happened. I'm just saying that political strategies look at all of these things. And sometimes when there's something big happening and then you hear of some scandal, it is... people are always holding on to things.
I agree with that. But I also wanted to also say that you also need to admit that even in our work, sometimes you want a bit of... It gets tiring. You see, we've been doing this since 2017. Okay. And the way I see campaigns, they have ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And there are moments. So you seize a moment, you build momentum, you get something. You cannot sustain a fight with the same momentum in perpetuity.
Yeah, that's true.
So what you do is that you pick a moment, you hit some notes, you strategize, and you reconvene. So I think that the organized labor thing was a high point for all of us until they said they were not going to do the strike. So even though they were not the leaders of the Galamsey thing, because of the symbolic nature of their resistance, we rallied around it. So we have to admit that it took some steam out of the fight, and it was a place to reflect and say, okay, what have we achieved? The government say they will send some soldiers to the place, they will repeal the law. You pause, you re-strategize. Now, you may even tire yourself and tire your readers if you go back the same day and use the same strategy to say, well, until we see. You know what I'm saying? Because even in anything you are doing, you have to break it down into compartments. So, which is why I'm saying that the fight had already gotten to a point where we needed a new narrative. All right, because the water narrative had been done. People had even gone to do films about polluted sachet water. People had gone to Galamsey's site and shown the videos. So there was, how shall I put it? You need to find creative ways to maintain the momentum, because don't forget, in our job, don't forget, our job is also an attention job. So journalists have a right, have a responsibility to make the significant interesting. It's one of the 9 principles of journalism. You have a responsibility. Why is it that when I went with you to Sugakope, you didn't come and write an editorial, but you produced a radio documentary? And why did you produce it with the actualities? Your work as a journalist, apart from seeking for truth, is to make what is significant interesting through the skill of storytelling. Okay? So, people sometimes say, oh, media, you've left the main issue. You've gone on this. We are fighting for attention, and we also have to keep telling. And telling story is not easy, because you have to find new ways of telling the same story. So you use a video, you use a panel discussion, you use a radio documentary, you do an interview. But those tools, it can get to a point where you get exhausted.
You see, Bernard,
and then don't forget, when you are on a campaign is not just a normal story writing. You are trying to achieve something. So you need to strategize and come back and say, okay, which angle can I use next? That's how I see it.
You see, that is where Godfrey's issue comes in. We still could have prosecuted the people's right to know, telling them what's happening in Parliament, and still hold the politicians' leg to the fire of accountability to say that, look, first of all, the reason you are coming back, one of the things you have to come and do is to ensure that you are ready to receive or insist that the government should bring the ally that they should bring. And while all this butu-butu is going on, any time that you got the majority leader on the phone, you should have put that question to him. Majority leader, are you aware that the biggest matter in Ghana today is not where you sit in Parliament? The Honorable, what do you call it? Mahama Yariga, are you aware that the most important thing in Parliament in Ghana...
Fine, so we should have reminded them in interviews. We are
not reminding.
Sky, we are talking about a campaign. I agree with you that in the way we covered the the parliamentary thing. There are opportunities to remind people. But I'm talking about a campaign.
Yeah,
a campaign is a campaign is a series of engagements. It's a long process.
Yes,
so so assuming I did that, does that
you always quote the biblical position
that what?
That you don't do this and leave others undone.
Yes, but I'm saying that if you take 20 newspapers in the morning, okay, this is a collective fight.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, there were days that we would take the editorial of the Chronicle, Galamsey, editorial of the Times, Galamsey. So there were different things that were happening. But I'm saying that gradually the attention shifted, not necessarily because we took our eye off the ball, but it's a natural consequence of that. Things go in cycles.
Bernard,
so you have to begin a new cycle.
We need to accept responsibility for editorial decisions we make. Because there have been countless times that there were major issues in this country. We decided to ignore them entirely. Which is true. There are times we even discuss
but we've done that.
No, see, Bernard, you see, I'm saying.
No, I'm on the fire. Talk to me. I'm listening. No problem. I'm listening to you.
So when you take an editorial decision, which I respect, you have got to be accountable for that. And to say that, okay, you accept your part in this.
Okay.
Going forward, this is how you do it. That's why I'm saying that we could have done what you are saying we should do, right? Yeah. Without leaving all the others undone. The people have a right to know what's happening in their parliament.
Yeah.
And they have a right to know that while they are dealing with the water crisis that is facing them, while people are getting poisoned, while women are giving birth to, babies with all the problems that they have, MPs are interested in either marching in parliament.
Showdown.
Yes, showdown.
But in fact,
telling others they will
the showdown was even media created too, in terms of even the way we built it up. So maybe you are right that sometimes, I concede, we are sensational generally. So like the day before yesterday, most of the newspapers were pitching Tuesday as the showdown day. All right. So maybe you are right. We ourselves, we are fascinated by that type of controversy, and therefore we could not differentiate between doing what we were supposed to keep doing while also letting people know what was happening, because we all got enamored, and I concede to that. So maybe going forward, we have to have a system where we can keep the main thing, and also cover breaking sensational stories without completely annihilating the focus. So I concede, of course, you are not here, so you are finishing me. I take it. I take it in good faith.
Bernard, you see the Galamsey thing. What also I want people to remember is that it's costly to be telling Galamsey stories.
I tell you. Look at
Erastus Asaredonko and his crew have been attacked by armed men at mining sites in the Ashanti region.
I don't know how many people have donated money to say, let's go and pay his hospital bills.
Thank you.
The media, you are letting us down.
So every day people attack the media. We must also know that, one, it's costly in terms of resources and in terms of even the safety of the journalists who cover it. And so if consistently media houses come together and run campaigns for close to a month, that is where those we have given power through our terms to take care of our environment must also show leadership and commitment. Do you understand?
100%.
And so,
100%.
So voters also then have a choice to make, because I think that the media, we have done well by showing people what should be done. We've gone beyond informing.
But Sky is saying we can do better. So I agree with you. We've done well, but his point is that with the experience we have and the knowledge we have of how things work, we should not be hoodwinked, and we should also, and I think Officer's point was, you can walk and chew gum. All right, you can let people know that there's something happening in Parliament, and the truth is that I think they are right in a sense, because you see, we are close to. Look, it's not because we know, because of what we do. Scientists will call you and send you information. Ghana Water will call you and give. So we are privileged to know so many things other people don't know. Yeah. So even if they are fighting in Parliament, you have to say, look, based on what we've been. Professors will call you and give you a publication and say, look, read this. So because of what we know, we should be able to say, look, in addition to covering everything else, we should find a way of sustaining the main fight. So on that score, I concede. But don't leave me next week and run away and can't tell me that I took my eye off the ball. You left me. You left me here. And then you
go to Oxford.
You can't tell me. You can't tell me that I should have asked the majority leader. I should have asked the majority. Why didn't you text me and say, Aloski, when you are doing the interview, make sure you focus on Galamsey. You didn't tell me anything. You know?
Oh man, there are more messages.
Yeah, let's read a
though.
few more. For me, I think that this is a good exercise because we learn from this experience. Because I don't think this Galamsey fight is over. And
over?
It's now starting. It's now starting. Momentum has been lost, but it can be reclaimed. Momentum has lost, but it can be reclaimed.
Bernard,
let's make sure that they don't sell their campaign messages. They may play their adverts, but you see, if you are too radical,
we should block the bad guy.
Bro, let's talk.
They should buy the airtime and play their 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yes.
But what we want
so we
to
shouldn't discuss.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something though. Have you noticed that this is the first election that manifesto discussions have not been? You know, people were planning to do manifesto programs. We have almost 600.
And even peace campaigns and
there's
things.
There's no manifesto discussion. It's and it tells you that the nation's attention has shifted. Even with all the controversy in Parliament, people are not really delving into the manifesto thing like they used to do a few years ago. What do you think?
In the mood that I'm in this morning means that you might not like my response.
After all said and done,
you might not like my response on the matter. You see, because the thing is, could it be that people looked at the manifestos and said,
Nothing there inside.
Nothing there inside.
That could be true.
You see,
that could be true as well.
There's
we didn't even debate them.
Yeah, there are those I've spoken to in my space who actually say in the period like this, normally less than 50 days to a general elections in Ghana, for any other issue to share the headline for the period that Galamsey has shared the headline, that other issues have shared the headline that are not necessarily related to look, if not for the fact that the major parties in this country have invested significantly in media ownership, they will disappear. I'm telling you, they will disappear. Which is why perhaps part of their strategy has been to invest in owning newspapers, TV, and radio. If not, all people would have seen would be Galamsey.
Does it mean
and back pages?
Does it mean that the public is not as interested in the political messages as we make it?
No, I think that the political messages, particularly with regards to the Galamsey, with the manifestos, have not satisfied the needs of people.
People want more.
Yes.
People want more.
Which is why I spoke to you about the democracy as it is. People want more. People expect. People read it and like, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
It's because now people have the ability to Google and check.
Cycle.
People have copies of previous manifestos. So they look at it and say, I've seen this before. What is new? People look at this and say, you are promising this. Is it real or not? People used to be excited by the mention of certain things. But as you have a populace that becomes a bit more experienced
and fatigued by broken promises.
Exactly. They look at this and say, don't do it. So there's also cynicism in that. But the truth is, a lot of people have not been fascinated by the content of the manifestos.
But still, they will go and vote in their numbers. Yeah. So you know, when you talk to some middle class people, they're like last week, we won't vote and things. But how do you resolve this tension of people are not satisfied with the campaign messages, they are cynical of politics, they want something more, and yet their voting behavior doesn't change?
Because the way I read this, the way I analyze this, strangely enough, our democracy and the people who follow politics and political parties in this country, we are working ourselves from a different perspective. So normally, you would have political parties having to work hard to attract the kind of voting numbers the two big political parties have. So, for instance, you looked at you said what? We're voting at what, 90%? 95?
Not even 10 out. NDC and PPD, they are now.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Those two.
Of those who vote, they vote for them like 99%.
9%.
Yeah, like 98%.
Exactly. Which is extremely high.
Yes.
Which is extremely high.
But some people say because the people have destroyed the other parties.
So, of course, there is that. But let's look at what we have in front of us. So you have a situation where you now have people who basically you are coming off the high of being loyalist and cannot run away from the fact that these are the beliefs I've held, or this is the political party I support. Okay, rather than the political parties having to actually work to attract more people. You understand? So there's kind of a retention cycle that the political parties go through. What is that retention cycle? Keep a hardcore 45%.
Which I even think is lower now.
Okay, let's keep it there.
40 or 40.
Yeah, keep the hardcore. And somewhere, the way our elections, our political parties did not have to work hard to get those numbers.
They work hard to get them, but they don't work hard to maintain them.
No, I think, the way we were introduced to democracy in 92 meant that either you were here or you were there.
I get you.
Okay, so people just went. They didn't have to work extremely hard. The way, you see, the kind of conversations that happen. So recently, when I was on my recent trip, there was a conversation about somebody came looking to convince me about why I should be, and I had it from both sides, either vote red or blue. You understand? And then I'm like, I've never had anybody come to my doorstep since I became a legal voter to have a conversation with me about whether I will vote
they just assume
red or yes. So it's like, oh, this person was born into, everybody knows my background, was born into an MPP household. So automatically,
that's what they don't know, that you have a man of your own. I want
that's
to,
what
I want
he
to
is.
throw a question out. Yesterday, I was talking to somebody who said he was talking to a millennial. So this is the Gen Z person. So this person is in their early 20s. And then he mentioned, and this person is an older person, he mentioned the name of a significant Ghanaian politician. Now this Gen Z person was like 21 years old and had never heard the person's name, but was interested in politics generally, but hadn't even heard of the guy. So his conclusion was that maybe the young Ghanaian mindset and what even matters to them, we, the people in the media, may not know it. Because we assume, so I come on in and I say, let's talk to a Ponkroma, let's talk to a Blackwa, let's do this. So these are people we all know. So we use the language within our circles. But maybe you meet a 21-year-old tech student who may vote, but most of his news is on social media. So he's following other things.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a transition happening, which we, the traditional media, have not caught on to. Number two, the middle class is also getting angrier. The problem I have though is I don't know if the middle class is growing or reducing. You see, because in societies that advance, when the middle class grows, they're able to influence the business and political class to do the right thing.
Right thing, yes.
So if somebody has done the research on if our middle class, because the middle class seems very angry with the politicians generally, of course more so with the government. Could it also be that what the middle class wants is not articulated by what the parties are saying, for which reason the manifestos are no longer attractive? Because if you even say I'm going to do a debate on manifestos, like if I say let me take NDC MPP on corruption, who's going to listen to that? Like,
you see,
we already know.
Bernard, which is why today I'm very happy, because you and I have had debates on this program where I've told you that the middle class, as we call it, or the elite of this country, are not plugged into the system the way they should be plugged in to matter. So I'll tell you an example. So for instance, the other time I asked you, who are the biggest industrialists in this country and what are their positions on certain matters? You see, Dangote's political position on certain things, because he would tell you to your face, and it will matter to you because this man employs perhaps 40,000 people, contributes X to your GDP. You cannot afford not to listen to him. I'm not saying not to do what he says, but not to let him matter. And there are a lot of those. Now, those persons end up also being part of the government. So
what is wrong with our middle class?
You see, our middle class look to become the next level. Now, there's also this. A lot of Ghanaians are in recovery from the middle class. Particularly because they feel that a significant portion of the middle class joined the MPP and betrayed them.
They are very suspicious of
the middle class who are out there
to say, now let's do this,
saying, okay, let's engage. This is my background.
You use
Come
that
out
to
and let's
enter
do
politics
this.
and then it came
Exactly.
to let me pause that thought and do a quick interview and come back to you. So I want to talk to Engineer Ken Ashigbe on the first part. I think both you and Sky have said to me that essentially I failed editorially. That's what you have said to me nicely. That instead of
you didn't feel you could have worked and chewed gum.
Yeah, instead of allocating attention proportionally to Galamsey, whilst also following all the frolics in Parliament, I was hoodwinked by controversy and my need for sensationalism to just to spend my whole time chasing this thing which has now led me here. That's what you said.
You could have done better.
Yes, and I agree. I concede. Let me talk to Kanasigwe. He's my partner in this fight. Let me know whether he agrees with you or not. Engineer, so my panelists have concluded that we, the media leading lights, have sort of lost steam in the Galamsey fight. Of course, partly because of the organized labor thing, but more recently because we are chasing shadows with this whole parliament thing, and we've not been able to keep our eye on the ball, for which reason the fight has lost a bit of steam. Do you agree with what they are saying?
Well, Bernard, I would agree with the fact that there's been some loss of steam. That is a fact, and I also would concede that as media, the momentum has been lost a bit. But again, you see, it ties in with the last things you were saying. I remember Sir Sam Jonah castigating the media and saying he was not hearing all of that. But the challenge has been the fact that the middle class has failed us. So yes, be it that the media, we've lost a bit of steam especially after the 10th of October, the strike did not happen, and Labour also recoiled a bit. And we followed the floric of government into when they sent us that 100 few men to go and fight this, and after a day or two, nothing happened. And then we were hoping that on the 15th, something was going to happen in Parliament. And unfortunately, when they got to Parliament, then we had this happen. So yes, it is true. But where is the middle class in all of this? We got the Catholic Church also do their march, on that Friday, the 11th. But we must bring the support from everybody else. So where are the Samson Jonas who are castigating us? Where are everybody else? So I think that in as much as we would agree, and for me, I think it is very important that we notice the fact that we have lost steam. And because we have lost steam, the government has also gone to sleep, and all of that. It is good that we have had this realization. And it is important that immediately we regroup. But it is important to also state that we should not have all of, Ghana just depend on only the media. We need the support of middle class. We need the support of academia, the religious bodies, and all of them to say that how do we all regroup and make sure that this is going to happen. So for us, definitely, the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, this conversation you are having is a good cue for us that we need to find out. Yes, sir.
Can a fight or a campaign go at the same pace in perpetuity? Because I feel like a campaign has ebbs and flows, and it should be broken down and there should be review. So, for example, when the TUC or the organized labor did the October 10th thing, I thought it was a good opportunity to reflect on what has been achieved and how to re-strategize. You get it? So people are like, oh, let's keep the fight. Think about it. The government initially wasn't budging, and now they say, well, they would revoke the LI and they would send more soldiers to the bush. Fine. They didn't agree to do the state of emergency. But I felt like if it's a dialogue, and we've been doing this since 2017, right? And you cannot keep, and if history is going to, you've not maintained the same momentum from 2017. So it would be foolhardy to think that because you've gotten momentum in August or September 2024, you can keep all of that to December 7. Obviously, you know that other things will come up and people will even get tired. So I felt like the reduction in the momentum was natural more than instigated. You're right, and it's not necessary because the media leadership took their eye off the ball. I thought it was a natural sort of thing.
So again, so I think that you're right. So so in terms of the strategy, for example, we need to then decide what it is that we're going to do next. In terms, and one of the things was the red campaign. So maybe the red campaign, we're overambitious in saying we're going to do a daily campaign. We need to find ways in which we can carry everybody along in terms of how that is going to be done. But we also have a few asks that we've put out there of government. How do we ensure that we are pushing those conversations as well? So conversations around the poisoning that is happening. How is Ghana Water dealing with our water? Can they assure us that all the water we're drinking is actually happening? We've not been able to push to get a feedback on some of the issues that we asked of. Apart from the one day that some of our media men were embedded in the team, we are not too sure what is going on. So I completely agree with you that we cannot keep the momentum just at that particular point. The listeners would even get a fatigue. So you would need to re-strategize in terms of the messaging and in terms of the storytelling. So what is the next thing that it is that we're going to do? But we can't run away from the fact that these politicians also, for a very long time, they are quick to even, their campaigns, were completely lost. So they definitely were also strategizing and finding ways in which they could also get the momentum. Bear in mind, for them. And the reason why most Ghanaians, we've seen the two of them, and it looks as if it's just either of the two of them that are going to come. And Ghanaians are tired. And because of the fact that we, for once, were focusing on the issues that really mattered to Ghanaians. And we had this, we had a whole day that, Channel 1 TV dedicated to this, and we got a few others coming in. So it is natural that we will get, the troughs and the highs. But what we need to do is to find out what is our next step going to be, and how are we going to carry everybody along. So I will not be the leadership of the media. I will not be people like yourself to say that you have failed. No, I won't say that. I will just say that it is important for us that in our whole strategy, how do we mobilize ourselves around, the various milestones that we have to ensure? And the most important thing is not just to make noise, it's to ensure that we can bring stability to a low, to ensure that, the forest that is being damaged, all of those things, how do we ensure that all of that is going to be done? So I think that this conversation you had this morning is really a good point of reflection for all of us. But as we do that, we would need the whole of Ghana, those who want to stop the poisoning, to come along. They shouldn't be behind us. They should be side by side with the media.
So from what you're saying, the middle class, the ordinary Ghanaian, of course, that's not the same people. They want Galamsey to stop, but they need leadership. And the leadership is what the media should provide, using its rallying power to keep the issues. But they on their own may not be able to drive the Stop Galamsey campaign because they don't have a platform. So what the media does, the media becomes the rallying point. All right. Since that's an interesting point, and isn't there also a fatigue in the thing? So let me give you an example. So you show videos, you write stories, you do analysis, it gets to a point you're repeating the same things. Okay? So even you, the person doing the storytelling, you ask yourself, is there a different way of saying the same thing? Our water bodies are polluted. Babies are born deformed. We are not getting cocoa. It gets to a point where you've said almost everything you want to say, and meanwhile the government is not listening to you. Do you now go and invent new facts, or how do you? It's a challenge, right? Because, for example, I'll give you an example. When somebody shared the Achimota Speaks flyer, and I think I shared it, somebody said, if aren't you tired of talking, what else are they coming to say? Because you see, we've been doing panel discussions on Galamsey for the past 8 years or more. Right? So, yes, it's great to hear Achimota Speaks. Professor Gordon will say some very important things on November 13. But a lot of people will say, Charlie, that's not what we need, though. We need action. You went to St. Augustine's, action in Kuting. What should we do? Is it that we should now go and demo or what? Because it looks like you get tired of repeating the same thing to a person who doesn't really want to listen to you, or who's chosen which part of you to listen to, and he decides that he will listen to the rest of what you're saying. What do you do?
So I think that in the middle of all of that, apart from the fact that we need to continue to speak about it, be able to get new voices. And then we brought some very new voices into this campaign from August to September up till now. And it's good. It's refreshing. But we need to start some action. And that's the reason, this is the point where we also need a few other people to come in to support us. So, what some of the tools that the Ghana Coalition, for example, has looked at is the tools of legal advocacy, for example. Are there some things that we now need to start calling some duty bearers into the court? So this week or next week, we're going to try and do the RTI in terms of the letters that we've written to Ghana Water for them to give us assurances that all the waters that they are producing from their water treatment plants, the levels at which you have the heavy metals in that, are at acceptable level. And we've also written to the Food and Drugs Authority and the Ghana Standards Authority that they've all been silent about. So we need to start bringing some pressure to bear on that. So there's some level of action that is required. We cannot just be passive as citizens. And so we need some level of some things that we can do that will compel the duty bearers. So has the time come for us to also start, going to some of these so-called development partners, and another new voice we had was the UNDP regional, country representative starting to speak. So can we also start going into some of these places that then, that would cause government would feel it. You have this conversation going with the IMF. We should be asking questions of the World Bank. The money that you gave to government to say they do reclamation. How do you keep on giving money to people who would keep on allowing trees to be cut? What is accountability even in that? So those are some of the things that the next step that we have to add. But then we cannot leave the conversation. So the conversations will still have to go another notch. We just have to re-strategize, and we have to add actions to it. And this is the point where when we are adding actions, it can't just be the media again, because for us, as a fourth estate of the realm, the tools we have is what we're using. But we need the support of people like, the lawyers, the scientists, and all of that to be able to do the next action. Because this one is not one of those things that you can say that, you can live with. It is about death. It's about people dying. And on a daily basis, people are dying. Yesterday, I saw a video of some young man who had died in the pit. And if you look at the way his colleagues were pulling him out of the pit, you see that this thing that we're talking about, it's a terrible thing that is eating us up. So, you see, we also need to, I think one of the things that as media we also need to do a lot more of is this linkage between this illegality and the things that are happening to the people in their communities. And that, again, we cannot do alone. It would need our research scientists, it would need our pathologists, it would need the medical people providing us the evidence. And because we know how to tell the story better, we can collaborate with them to be able to put that out. So this is something that we need to do all together. It would not just be the media just talking about it. Other things would have to be added to it. And those other things are not all in the remit of the media.
Ken, thank you for your advocacy. Thank you for that. And I think this is very important. So we will definitely continue in doing what we have to do. And I thank you for your intervention. So Ken Asigbe is the convener of the Media Coalition Against Galamsey and a member of the Ghana Anti-Galamsey Coalition. And I have more of your messages about what we can. By the way, the other question I have for listeners, maybe for tomorrow, would be, so what should we focus on beyond Galamsey, right? Help us between now and election. What are the key things the media should highlight? Because elections also present a chance for you to get politicians to either commit to do or actually do what you want. Do you understand? Because they come to you. Yeah. So sometimes if you focus on some things, you can get action from them. So one of the things we want to decipher from listeners is, what should the priority be? What should the key issues be? Like we're talking about transportation. I don't really hear a lot of debate among political parties about transportation. We're talking about infrastructure. But we have said that transportation is a very important issue. Movement, all right? Commuting between cities and countries. Maybe we should have a list of more demand-led interventions as against supply, because there's also corruption, infrastructure, this, that, digital, whatever. We should look at it from what people need and see if we can use the election season.
You know what we need?
Tell me.
We need the politicians to agree that for Parliament we need midterms.
Okay.
They will all wake up.
So that we will do election for president on a different date?
Yes. We need midterms for Parliament. We need midterms.
After every 2 years.
The way
change the whole system. The way the constitution is written.
See, because what the suggestion you just made, as you are having this conversation, they are scheming, they are scheming as to how to get away with whatever it is they're coming to do for the next 4 years. It has nothing to do with public transport. It has nothing to do with. And would you say? Let me ask you this question. Since you're asking the business of asking questions, would you say that the developments of this country, the past 30 years, has been at the pace that satisfies you?
Can you repeat the question?
The pace of development of this country, the past 30 years, where we are today, as a country, in terms of what this country is.
No, I don't think that's satisfied me. I think we started well and then we've tapered off. So it's like we've gotten to a stage where the potential has not been realized.
We do development for show. We don't do proper development.
You say it that way.
No, Bernard. We do development for show. You see, because you highlight a problem. Tomorrow, you will get a solution to it. It will be covered. We will cover it heavily. And then that's it.
That'll be procurement.
So you feel like, but has this been from the beginning? Because you said 30 years.
That's what I'm asking you. Overall,
I think
because I don't want to.
We started well.
I don't want to segment.
So what I'm saying is that initially, of course, it's relative. Like you lived in a dictatorship till 92.
Yes.
And then you have voting for your president. You have a constitution. There's parliament. So initially, you are enamored by that, right? So initially you are. So sometimes failure is not in absolute terms. It's relative to what you expect. So in the first 5-10 years of democracy, between 93 to 2012, you say, oh, we've changed Rawlings to Kufuor. We are voting. Media is a bit free. It's progress. We are making progress, right? Then somewhere in the middle, things just went offside, and it's just been that way since.
Would you agree with me? And again, we're asking our listeners questions, that the greatest developments, the most significant developments our country has made, is in how we vote.
Hey, what are you saying?
And the transitions after.
What do you mean?
No. We went 92. How did we vote?
Okay. Like
Ghana,
wooden ballot, no transparent ballot.
Look.
So everything is election based.
Our electoral processes are among the most modern.
Apart from everything else,
our electoral rules are the templates
that people use
for other countries.
So all we want is voting.
So when it comes to that, Ghana is world class.
But we are still fighting at EC.
No. You see, those ones are okay.
And all those things.
Those ones are okay, but the electoral solutions this country has come up with, you see, because a lot of foreign partners invested in how this country's elections would run and how it would become sustainable, and they still do so, which is why I get you. You know what happens.
So apart from that, you don't think much else has improved?
If you look at the quality, I'm just saying the quality of the electoral process and the transitions, and compare that to the quality of other sectors of this country in the past 30 years, which one matches it? You tell me. Roads?
There's a disconnect.
Roads, housing, education. Which one?
Health.
So that tells you where the attention is.
Let me take a breather.
Take a breather, Bernard. But think about it.
You have raised some significant issues. 9:23. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Attention CEOs, join Ghana's top 1,000 CEOs, policymakers, political leaders, and ambassadors for the first Ghana CEO Presidential Manifesto Gala Dinner 2024 on November 7, 2024 at the Mervyn Pig Hotel, Accra from 6 to 10:30 p.m. This historic event will focus on reigniting the business economy and social contract for growth, a business manifesto for political accountability and sustainable development. Special guests of honor include His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Vice President of Ghana, and His Excellency John John Dramani Mahama, former president of Ghana. Attendance is by invitation and requires pre-registration. Register at ceogaladina.ceonetworkgh.com. For inquiries, contact 0546391970 or email ceogaladina@gmail.com. This event is powered by Chief Executives Network Ghana in partnership with Deloitte, PwC, University of Ghana, SIGA, GIPC, UPSA Law, and the Multimedia Group. The first Ghana CEO Presidential Manifesto Gala Dinner 2024, connecting political ambitions with business realities.
Switch to awesome. The Samsung Galaxy A06 performs better than your backup phone. Buy now from authorized shops.
Are you hoping to start university this October? If you want a British degree from a world-class university at a fraction of the cost, then join Lancaster University Ghana in Accra. With a diverse student community, vibrant campus life, and up to 50% scholarship to support your study, Lancaster University Ghana provides you with a world-class education that creates endless possibilities globally. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Apply to join Lancaster University Ghana, where learners become leaders. Admissions are currently open for our 2024 intakes. Apply now for our foundation and undergraduate programs. For more information, contact us at +233 030 221 8989 or send an email to admissions@lancaster.edu.gh. Lancaster University Ghana, the only British university campus in West Africa.
Efia, I've been thinking. Have you noticed the changes in our community?
Kojo, things are really different now. The MPP has really made a difference.
Exactly. Free SHS, healthcare, new factories. It's like a whole new Ghana.
And don't forget, electricity is so much reliable now. I remember when we used to go days without light.
True. The NPP has done a lot to improve the basics.
Ajua is a beneficiary of free SHS, and now she is in university.
And that's the kind of leadership we need. Someone who is focused on making things better for everyone. But Efia, still there are a lot more to be done for the development of Ghana.
Absolutely, Kojo. The NPP has shown that real progress is possible.
On December 7th, let's vote to keep this positive impact going. Vote number 1 on the ballot. Vote NPP for a better and prosperous Ghana.
Come on. Good boy. Honey, look, he's crawling. Wow. Good job. The new Cerelac Wheat and Maize has the combined goodness of wheat and maize grains fortified with iron, vitamins, and minerals also found in fruits and vegetables. To prepare the new Cerelac Wheat and Maize, just add milk. Enjoy your little one's big moments at less cost. Cerelac, care for them, count on us. This advert is FDA approved.
Awesome is what you see and appreciate. Switch to Samsung Galaxy A06 fast and enjoy vibrant and expanded display. Buy them now from authorized shops.
When Champions Gap 2020, in a world filled with uncertainty and shifting beliefs, where do we find truth? The answer is closer to you than you think. From Thursday, 31st October till Sunday, 3rd November, KICC Ghana presents When Champions Gather 2024 Conference at the KICC Dominion Center off Spintex Road. Our guest ministers teaching and demonstrating the power and truth of God's word are Reverend Steve Mensah, Charismatic Evangelistic Ministries, Prophet Christopher Yao Ano, ICGC Holy Ghost Temple, Pastor Dipo Oluyomi, KICC UK. Our host is Pastor Andy Yolson. Mark your calendars from Thursday 31st October and Friday 1st November at 6:30 p.m. each night, and Sunday 3rd November 8 a.m. at KICC Dominion Center. Remember, you shall know the truth, and it is the truth that will set you free. For inquiries, please call 0243 69 0071.
Honestly, the cost of dialysis is an impossible burden to carry. Ever since this kidney failure diagnosis, we spend over 1,200 cedis every week. I keep asking if there's no intervention for persons suffering from chronic illnesses in society. Considering all these economic hardships, isn't the government thinking of us? Aren't they? Is the NPP government saying they can't do anything about this? Grandpa, I can't lose you, Grandpa.
A nation that doesn't care for its sick is herself sick. Ama's painful story is one of what many Ghanaians
Ghanaians are going through today. But there is hope for Ghanaians under the next NDC government. John Mahama will create the Mahama Cares Fund to support the cost of treatment of people suffering chronic illnesses such as kidney failure, cancer, diabetes, sickle cell, hypertension, and other heart diseases. Ghanaians can access free healthcare at CHIPS compounds, health centers, clinics, and polyclinics, whether or not they have NHIS cards. These interventions will be major sources of relief for the millions of Ghanaians who are suffering from these chronic diseases and are often left to their own fates. Indeed, Mahama cares. Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
What Richard Delasky is saying, 100% in total. These are my reasons. I've had various engagements with colleagues and friends across board this past few weeks when it came to light that our MPs were concentrating on who has majority in parliament and who is minority in parliament. I just told them that this takes my mind to the House of Cards. It is so calculated just to take our minds off everything that was actually essential to us as a state, as a nation. Why do I say this? Throughout the campaign and advocacy to stop galamsey and illegal mining in this country, none of our political figures deemed it fit and appropriate to comment brutally on this and show us decisive measures to address the issue of galamsey. Now, fast track to when the ruling of the speaker came. I don't know whether it's a ruling or a decision of the speaker came out. That same day, former President Mahama commented on his campaign platform. The following day, when the NPP went to court and got the decision of the Supreme Court to stay the execution of the decision of the Speaker of Parliament. Our Vice President and the presidential candidate of MPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bamia, commented on that decision. So, question, what do you think drives the agenda and motivation of our politicians?
How many times, Charlie, you go display your foolishness?
Bernard, let's compare it to our football laws. You know, with the parliament issues. If a player is being bought in a transfer window, of which the season have not started, the player still plays for the team, the parent team, until the new season starts. So I don't see why a player or a parliamentarian who was voted within a specific period of time was sworn in for a specific period of time.
You thought they left cause them broke, Charlie.
Yes, good morning, Bernard and team. Thanks for the opportunity this morning once again. Charlie, guys, I think that this fight against Galamsey has to be a concerted one. And what do I mean by that? Look, the whole media landscape, all of you guys, the various media houses should come together, okay? Look at what happened to Erasmus and his team over the weekend. Okay, the level of impunity. So for me, I think at this stage, we should see Citi FM, Citi News, the multimedia group, and all the other media houses showing the video of the engagement between the police and those criminals when Erasmus and the team and the police went back to the Galamsey site. Such videos should be trending, okay, on all your social media handles. And once people get to see that, it ignites the anger, and the more angry we get, then we are likely to see results. Okay, so guys, let's do this together, irrespective of various media houses.
Good morning, Bernard, and good morning to your listeners. I think the media, as a media house, you guys need to do a little bit of prioritization, because overemphasizing the behavior and characters of these political parties have been the norm of the day. Everywhere we turn, it's this MP says that, this political party says that, and all that. But these are not what is needed. Remember, even the good book, the Bible, says that God knows what we need and so provides them. If you can prioritize properly, you would understand that we cannot absorb some of these political news if we do not have good food, good roads, a sound mind, good health. These are essential needs that needs to be taken care of first. Then the rest can come.
They beg we to vote, Charlie. Then we do.
So Aloski, let me try and give you my own perspective on this here. What I feel is that, Ghana as a developing country, we don't have the luxuries of what the developed world has. So it means that for us to transform our nation, it cannot be business as usual, right? So it means that we need the best of everything as input into that impact that we are seeking to achieve. So what it also means is that the quality of the people that we vote into parliament to represent us should be a group of people who understand the national agenda and can nuance that with their political party's interests, but ultimately ensure that what transforms Ghana is what drives them. So it includes what they say, how they behave in leadership. It includes the time they allocate to reading bills, to research, to looking at how it's been done elsewhere, why it's failed somewhere, and why we don't get ourselves in that same ditch here. So it's really a lot of serious work, because what is ahead of us to change, the narrative, the dial we seek to shift, unfortunately, you cannot go at it with business as usual. And unfortunately, I personally see a lot of business as usual or below business as usual in a very important arm of our nation, where the clock ticks, that engine room. And personally, I just feel like increasingly it's taking us far away, very far away from breaking through, lower middle income to a developing country. Because Charlie, we for Jacob, we for.
Then go hustle for some food, Charlie.
Hello, Bernard. Great conversation this morning. I appreciate the fact that you are trying to take responsibility as a media house, and it's a good sign of leadership. I mean, it's something we don't see today in our leadership system, where a leader will just come and say, "Hey, I'm trying to figure out if I did something wrong, and what should we do?" It's just a case of defend the wrong at all costs. There's nothing that is like there's nothing wrong. They would never claim responsibility. So yeah, this is a great step. However, I think I agree with everyone. I agree with you. I agree with Sky. I agree with Godfred, and I'll explain why. Sky is right. The media has to take some responsibility, and then hopefully the media should have kept asking about Galamsey and kept the Galamsey conversation up there. However, I also agree with you about keeping people's attention span for a long time. It's complex. That's why now people just keep scrolling. With the scrolling technology and this whole endless scrolling and social media and reels and everything, it's like people are moving to the next thing. So how do you keep them engaged? And that's why Sky is right. But I feel like and also, by the way, what you are doing now is also very important, because now you are educating we the listeners and we the masses on how media works, and inadvertently you're telling us about how some diversionary tactics can be used to can be deployed by people of power or not, to just basically sway us from conversations. And this is still part of education. It's like we are still being informed. We are seeing that it's a discussion you're having, but we are seeing that, oh, okay, this is also possible. They probably did this to take us away from this, and they can do this. Okay, next time when we have an agenda, let's stick to it. Let's fight this way. It's helping, and I think it's a good step. However, I feel like the next step you also ask, I would say, is this. We've all been hooked on what is going on in Parliament, separation of powers, whether it is or majority minority, but there's a new sense of anger that we can build on and say, okay, based on this anger and sense of responsibility, we know what is your priority, and then pick up the conversation. So I don't think it's a lost cause. I think bringing this conversation up at this time tells us that, educates us, informs us, makes us aware of some potential diversionary tactics, and then gives us some level of anger towards the sense of priority, and then we get to pick it up from where we left off. So I think we are still good to go. Charlie, I look at
Charlie. Morning, Bernard and team. Can we fault the media that much? We cannot fault you. You try to bring to your listeners what is trending and issues that are current on board. And for you to bring us the issue that were pertaining at Parliament, we cannot fault you much, because as listeners, we are also interested as such. But you, in one way or the other, can also redirect discussions. Just as you have rightly admitted, probably you shouldn't have spent all your time on the issue. But if you don't spend your time on the issue, the likelihood that others will spend their time on the issue is always very high, because it was a topical issue that was going on. I know the problem of this country is leadership, as some of us have always been alluding. And once Parliament fails us, it means the whole country has been failed. Before Parliament resumed, there was this topical issue of Galamsey, stop Galamsey, stop Galamsey, for which people have gone on demonstration, others have been arrested, and as we speak now, they are even in remand. So the question someone would have asked is, when Parliament resumed, was this motion for declaring seats vacant because people have switched from their political party to the other the important issue that should be discussed? Is this something that actually the whole country is discussing? Is it something that is disturbing the entire country? No. What is disturbing the entire country is the issue of Galamsey. So first and foremost, that should have been what the parliamentarians should have tackled. But because we have poor leadership in the system, what suits them is what they bring along. And that is where we are at the moment. It's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. Leadership is the problem of this country. Leadership is the problem of this country. Thank you.
You go display your foolishness, that's foolishness. Your disrespect that affects me, and now your families do.
Yo, good morning to Bernard and his team. To me, it's true, we have wasted our time that we are supposed to use to do productive things. But then what I want you to do, Bernard, is that as a country, we have to rethink. We have to sit up. Is it not right for us all to just calculate the salaries of the MPs for the next 2 months? And then we advocate to deny them their salary because that money can do something for us. If they have decided not to understand themselves and do the work that we have voted them to do for us, you have to deny them their salaries. As simple as that. They should not be paid. At least you can save some money for the country. I congratulate you for the great work you guys are doing. You are really doing well. God bless you. Call me the Fafa within Adentan municipality.
Sick people they stay for ground, the same ground where they live on
the team. You are doing a marvelous work, which we need to acknowledge you for that. But sometimes, as you said, you are at fault. You give more priority to these people who are fighting over who to sit where and where somebody should be. Whereas in our education sector, a whole lot of things are going on. Can you believe in the history of this country, it has never happened that results of BEC has been released and one subject, a new subject that has been introduced, it's not part of it, and nobody's asking the minister anything. Nobody's asking WAEC anything. Other they came to tell us that they don't have teachers to mark those things. Anyway, I don't know whether it is a rumor. Secondly, in the secondary school, those in Form 1 right now, they reported to school in 27th September, and now in 30th October, they've been promoted to Form 2. And we don't nobody to tell us anything. You see, in the education sector, as for the headmasters and the teachers, they are afraid to talk. They are afraid to talk, and they are doing this to our children, and none of us is saying anything about that. That is what, Bernard, you should discuss now. Thank you.
Good morning, team. Good morning. That's an important question, knowing what the media or what role the media can play between now and the elections. I think education. I think the people have to be educated. You have to be educated on the national issues. You need to be educated on the direction in which we should be going as a country, as a nation, against what these political leaders or other people are saying, against their campaign messages and all of that. Let's focus on the national issues. Let's educate people on the right processes. Let's educate people on the things that we are facing as a country, where we are, where we should be, what we should be doing as responsible citizens, and how we can change the progress of things as citizens. When we do that, when we educate the people, they now have the power with information to decide on who they want to vote for and how they want to go about.
11 minutes to 10, Citi Breakfast Show. Thank you for your voice notes. We really appreciate the depth, the insight, the range. Keep them coming in. Let's talk about Mikasa.
Yes, Mikasa is Ghana's #1 property website. They are back with the biggest housing fair in Ghana. The Mikasa Home and Property Fair 2024 is happening on the 2nd and 3rd November. It's happening at the Mervyn Peck Ambassador Hotel, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day. To register or to attend for free, visit mikasa.com/fair, or you can call 0501 680 737 to exhibit. Mikasa.com, Ghana's #1 property website. Now, the 8th edition of the prestigious Ghana Energy Awards is here. It's happening on the 25th of October, which is this Friday at the Labadi Beach Hotel, time 6:30 p.m. If you are interested in attending or you want a ticket or to sponsor, call 030-3940-300. The theme, the role of local content in building Ghana's energy sector, and the special guest of honor is Osabrema Kwesiata II, the Omanhene of the Ogwa traditional area. Ghana Energy Awards, 8 years of redefining excellence. Now, if you are thinking of going to school in 2025, Heritage Christian University College is here. They are announcing that the January 2025 admissions are in progress, and they are set up to provide a missing link in tertiary education through creativity and innovation. There's a huge emphasis on entrepreneurship, tech, and practical learning. If that is what you want, call 020-229-8399 or visit hcuc.edu.gh. If you want to go to a physical location, they are at Amasaman behind the Olympic Stadium, and they are accredited by GTech. Heritage Christian University College, educating compassionate entrepreneurial leaders.
And let me say that having bad sleep should not be one of the problems you have to deal with at all. So always make sure to get the latest foam. They prioritize your comfort and well-being. Step into any of their showrooms and experience the difference for yourself. High quality mattress and furniture crafted with your ultimate relaxation in mind. If you visit latest foam today, you sleep better tonight. Call us on 0302-231-155, 0302-008499. Online, visit us at www.latestfoamghana.com. And yes, moms, it's finally here. The news we've all been waiting for. Your favorite Cerelac now comes in a new variant with a combined goodness of wheat and maize grains fortified with iron, vitamins, and minerals. And it's affordable. It's just 2 Ghana cedis per sachet. Prepare this new Cerelac wheat and milk. Just add milk. In fact, Cerelac Cerelac now here the milk and you're fine. It's an advert that is FDA approved, and if you're getting good insights from data for decision making, that's great. If not, join the data analytics and AI revolution and empower your team to work smart, save time, and deliver insights from data using the world's best powerful business tools: Microsoft Excel, Power BI, ChatGTP, and Copilot. Finex Skills Hub offers you hands-on practical trainings to corporates and individuals in data analytics with Excel and Power BI, leveraging AI tools like Copilot and ChatGTP. Reach out to us. Call us 0244 782 356
Finex Skills Hub.
Yeah, that's what to do. Learn, connect, and grow.
That is confusing. We'll take a short break. Stay with us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Hello, boss. I just drove out of your premises. I've called you several times. Boss, I beg.
I gave you an opportunity to present your proposal with your financial statements. You didn't. If we approve and request for an invoice, that will take you another month, eh? You couldn't even provide receipts from the last job. My brother, we have given the contract to someone else who promptly furnished us with what we needed. Get serious.
Yehoah.
Don't be caught in this mess ever again. Restart with Build. Build provides businesses with a comprehensive accounting software with features that make your bookkeeping, accounting, tax, and payroll functions seamless. Our support team is always available to assist and respond to all your inquiries. Log on to www.build.africa and sign up. Call 030-80-4007 or 0303-974-832 for more information. Build. Bookkeeping made simple. Results made extraordinary.
What happens when ancient days meet modernity? What happens when a goddess wakes up in an era of digital chaos? Witness the epic battle between the past and the present. Catch the intrigue and suspense in Amwanime's era, a brand new epic telenovela showing Mondays to Fridays on Aquaba Magic, DSTV channel 150 and GoTV channel 102. Available on DSTV Access and GoTV Plus. Dial *759# to stay connected.
The 8th edition of the prestigious Ghana Energy Awards is here. It is happening live on Friday, 25th October at the Labadi Beach Hotel in Accra. Time 6:30 p.m. prompt. Theme: the role of local content in building Ghana's energy sector. Special guest of honor: Osabari Makwesi Atta II, the Oman Hene Ogwa traditional area. For tickets and sponsorship, call 030-3940-300. Industry partners: Ghana Gas, Volta River Authority, Bui Power Authority, Minergy Technology, National Petroleum Authority, Energy Commission, Goyle, Boast, PURC, JK Hogley Transport and Company, CG, Sunona Sogli Power, AOMC, WAP Chamber, Media Partners, Citi FM, Graphic News Plus, validation by Forbes Mazars Ghana, Ghana Energy Awards, 8 years of redefining excellence.
Honestly, the cost of dialysis is an impossible burden to carry. Ever since this kidney failure diagnosis, we spend over 1,200 cedis every week. I keep asking if there's no intervention for persons suffering from chronic illnesses in society. Considering all these economic hardships, isn't the government thinking of us? Aren't they? Is the NPP government saying they can't do anything about this? Grandpa, I can't lose you, Grandpa.
A nation that doesn't care for its sick is herself sick. Ama's painful story is one of what many Ghanaians are going through today. But there is hope for Ghanaians under the next NDC government. John Mahama will create the Mahama Cares Fund to support the cost of treatment of people suffering chronic illnesses such as kidney failure, cancer, diabetes, sickle cell, hypertension, and other heart diseases. Ghanaians can access free healthcare at CHIPS compounds, health centers, clinics, and polyclinics, whether or not they have NHIS cards. These interventions will be major sources of relief for the millions of Ghanaians who are suffering from these chronic diseases and are often left to their own fates. Indeed, Mahama cares. Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Come on. Good boy. Honey, look, he's crawling.
Wow.
Good job.
The new Cerelac Wheat and Maize has the combined goodness of wheat and maize grains fortified with iron, vitamins, and minerals also found in fruits and vegetables. To prepare the new Cerelac Wheat and Maize, just add milk. Enjoy your little one's big moments at less cost. Cerelac, care for them, count on us. This advert is FDA approved.
Make life easier with Sigma Appliances. Yeah. Your excellent go-to choice for Sigma Appliances.
From air conditioners, fridges, freezers, washing machines, small appliances, and more, Sigma Appliances has them all. Visit Platinum Impex on the Sprinters Road behind Okadeco. For wholesale, call 030-280-1555 or WhatsApp +233-55-466-6444. Visit PlatinumImpex.net.
Ghana's biggest housing event, the Mikasa Home and Property Fair, is
glasses on a bitch.
Guinea, ice.
I know you love this song. Before we play it fully, escape the holiday hustle and bustle with your loved ones for a great experience in Dubai, December 20 to 27 for only $1,650 USD. This is for visa, accommodation, tour activities, airline tickets, and more. Call Copan Hospitality on 026-234-9886. That's 026-234-9886. Copan Hospitality, tourism at its best.
Now, if you're always on the move and you can't afford to miss the Premier League, then sign up to the Premier League mobile plan on showmax.com. Get all the games for only 55 cedis. Download the Showmax app and you're good to go. Showmax is your stadium on the move. Talking about doing things on the move, save or buy as number 0242426396. She's your WhatsApp mobile assistant if you are a customer of Providence Insurance. On the move, you can buy, you can renew, you can even file a claim. It's hassle-free, super convenient. With Provident 9, you are covered.
A stage play written by Efo Kojo Magbe happening on the 8th of November at the National Theatre, featuring the likes of General Intatia, Brain Jota, Clemento Suarez, and Ajwa Olin Lindsay for a night of laughter, drama, and great moments. It's 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. and the Bukom Boxing Arena is showing this on the 9th as well at 7 p.m. For more information, call 054-123-4586. 054-123-4586. It's called You Play Me, I Play You.
Get your wahala na muabagalana.
You can also dial star 713 star 33 star 10 hash for tickets.
Sunday Makawa Maclan. 5
All right, that's all we have time for today. Thanks for your messages. Thanks for listening. City News at 10 with Hawa Idrisu.
Hello and welcome to City News at 10. This is the Election Bureau.